Jiggetts. The Cardinals will be without Neil Lomax, and that means Cliff Stout again today.
Well, Cliff Stout is a veteran quarterback. He's been around 10 years in the NFL, 12 years overall, counting the 2 USFL years. This guy can get it done. But also, don't forget, he's got a good running game, and he's throwing against the 28th rated secondary in the NFL, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles.
As far as the Eagles quarterback, Randall Cunningham, everybody agrees he's having a world-class year.
Well, you know, I always say this guy pulls a little magic out of his pocket every week, and certainly Randall never disappoints. But also, he's got a good receiver in Keith Jackson, and Chris Carter's been coming along, and he will also be throwing against a secondary of the Cardinals that is known to have its problems, particularly at the safety position. So there might be some opportunities there for him as well.
Well, the weather here in Philadelphia, a little strange to say the least. Cloudy skies, temperatures in the 60s. Here we are in November on the East Coast. Rain this morning, perhaps more this afternoon, and they have turned the lights on. It is not raining now. Indeed, hasn't rained for the past hour and a half. So we may get through on a dry day, and one would hope, with what's at stake here today, that the weather does not play a factor. Now, that carpet is a little damp, could be a little slippery. The Eagles won the toss. They defend to our right in their home white. Sean Beals is the deep man, and Al Del Greco will kick it off for Phoenix. Beals from the 6. Hit hard at about the 17-yard line and gets near the 20. Wayne Davis on the tackle. Randall Cunningham brings out the Eagles, and he will face a very tough defensive unit of the Cardinals, especially up front. This front four better every week. Freddie Joe Nunn, Clasby, Sadler, and Galloway. The linebackers, Bell, Noga, and E.J. Jr. The secondary is where they're hurting. They have 2 starters out of there if you count the nickelback. Lester Lyle starting for Lonnie Young, and Travis Curtis, also on injured reserve, is their nickelback. On first down, Cunningham intended for Ron Johnson, and that is incomplete at the 30-yard line. And offensively, the Eagles have Cunningham with Byers and Anthony Toney playing with a broken hand and a cast. Johnson, Carter, and Jackson are the receivers. Darwin, Alexander, Remington, Baker, and Heller. For the 3rd straight week, they have an offensive line intact with the players they want in there. Michael Haddix is in the backfield for Toney on 2nd down. And Cunningham eludes one sacker and gets the ball off out of bounds. Bob Clasby had a piece of him, but could not keep him in grasp and control, as the rule says, for a sack. The inactive players today, the Cardinals without Neil Lomax, still out with a knee injury, could be back next week. Wide receiver Andy Schillinger, the other one. The Eagles have just one inactive, Don McPherson, and they have 46 players on their roster, so thus they only have to have one of them inactive, and that is the number 3 quarterback out of Syracuse, Don McPherson. Now the Cardinals, with their 4-0 defense, bring in linebackers Harvey and Davis, replace the other 3, and add Reggie Phillips and Michael Grimm. A flag down on 3rd down. Cunningham again in trouble. Just gets it off, and it is caught by Ron Johnson. A flag down upfield as well, all the way into Phoenix territory.
First of all, you got Freddie Joe Nunn jumping off to start the play out. Then when Randall Cunningham pulls around to the corner to throw the football, he gets hit late. So there may be 2 penalties on this play, and then he completes the pass to Ron Johnson downfield, of course. One of the dangers that Randall Cunningham presents for a defense is the fact that he throws so well on the move.
The eligible receiver who caught the ball, stepped on the sideline, came back in, was first to touch the ball. That is a foul. The penalty is offset by offside number 78 defense. Penalties nullified, repeat 3rd down.
Well, all kinds of events there. Yeah. Freddie Joe Nunn jumped offside. That was the first flag. And then Ron Johnson, as you heard from Gordon McCarter, stepped on the sideline, came back in and caught the ball. That's a no-no, so they'll just play it again. 3rd down from the 20-yard line.
That flag was thrown right where Randall was taken down, so it's only natural to assume that maybe somebody hit him a little late. But in that case, his receiver ran out of bounds.
And a frustrating thing for that Cardinal line. They've had a good rush on 3 consecutive plays here, but haven't been able to get them. This time intended for Carter. First down. Into Phoenix territory again. Carl Carter, number 41 on the coverage, and he made the stop.
Now, the key thing on this play is look at the time Randall Cunningham has to throw. He's got good vision downfield. Galloway's the only guy slipping through a little bit. Carter runs that out, the late out down there, and he's wide open to the sideline, makes the catch. Now, one of the things that you know that the Cardinals secondary is going to have some problems with is man-to-man coverage because of the fact that they've changed so many people in that nickel situation.
There's a look at Chris Carter and having a fine season. Second-year man from Ohio State. This is Tony. Close to a first down for Anthony Tony. Now you see that cast on his left hand. I'll try and get you a picture. Let's look at the play first. Sadler on the tackle along with McDonald. There's a look at that cast, but he held on to the ball there.
Well, what they're doing is they're rolling out. Now, this is that sprint action that you're going to see Randall throw off of this action later on in the ball game. This time he hands back off to Tony. Tony making a nice move there, and you see he's carrying that ball in his right hand and not his left. He told me the other day, he says, hey, look, you know, I know if I try to put it in that damaged hand with the cast on it, I cannot hold on to the ball if it gets hit from behind, so, because his arm simply can't lock down to his body.
He broke the hand 2 weeks ago in the Pittsburgh game, and they do have the first down. And he did not play last week, but in asking him about it at the practice on Friday, he said they were able to cut away much of the plaster on the inside of the palm. He dropped one snap from center on the exchange in practice, and he said if they put the ball right on the hard part of the cast, it's a little harder to hang on to naturally. But Buddy Ryan wanted him to go, and he is out there. This is Keith Jackson. Close to another Eagles first down near the 26-yard line. Tim McDonald, the safety, number 46, made the tackle.
And one of the things you're seeing Randall Cunningham do is take shorter drops. That was about a 5-step drop. Set back up and release the football. That way you take some of that pressure off your offensive line. The defensive line can't get to you as much as they'd like to and shake you up. But I suspect that the other thing you're going to see out of Cunningham today is a lot of rollouts and sprints to the sidelines.
About a yard short of the first down, Dan. It'll leave 2nd and 1. Near the 26-yard line of Phoenix. Opening series for the Eagles. Tony. Good defensive reaction. They stopped him short on the first effort. Let's see where they spot the ball. Sadler with the first hit, and then Lester Lyles, the man starting for Lonnie Young today. Young injured on the first play of the game last week at Houston. And he's out along with Travis Curtis from that secondary. So Lester Lyles, a 4-year man from Virginia, picked up on waivers from the Jets, suddenly becomes a starter. He's only been there a couple of weeks.
And you talk to Dennis Thurman, the defensive backfield coach for the Cardinals. He says this guy learns very quickly because he's an experienced veteran. So you may see him make more adjustments defensively.
3rd and about a half yard now. Cunningham rushes for it. Flags, whistles everywhere. He had more than required for the first down. We'll see whether the Cardinals jumped in their eagerness to plug all the gaps.
Contact before the snap, nose tackle. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Indeed, that was the case, and so they not only get the first down, they get another 4.5 yards.
Yeah, right in the center of your screen, you're going to see this play. Now, if you're the center, you hate when this happens because it makes you, and Dave Remington can't afford to lose any more height. You know, the guy's 6 feet tall now. But when those tackles, in that case, Bob Clasby, hits you on the head, you know, you lose another inch or so of height.
Well, at least he's playing on the hard artificial surface here. Otherwise, he might be hammered into the turf. First down. Eagles driving, opening series. Cunningham stumbles, but gets it out to wide open Keith Jackson. Another first down near the 10. Anthony Bell followed him out of bounds.
Keith Jackson was wide open on the man-to-man coverage up underneath. Now, when you're having trouble with your linebackers covering tight ends, that's what you expect to see a lot of, the offense going to the tight ends. And also when the Cardinals get the football, expect to see them go to their tight end as well, because the Eagles linebackers have a very difficult time staying up with those tight ends. And look at those numbers inside the 20. They've scored 24 of 24 times inside the 20 in the last 8 games. Those are great numbers.
Well, and a lot of it having to do with that offensive line you just saw in the huddle, as they are now a together unit, having some time to get to know each other finally here in Philadelphia. Lots of protection for Cunningham. Touchdown, Ron Johnson. September at a junior college field in Monterey, California. Got a chance because of the injuries to Quick and Garrity. An 11-yard scoring strike. Cunningham to Johnson, and the Eagles open the scoring. Luis Zendejas for the point after. It is good.
The Eagles get a chance to play a little pitch and catch on that play. Randall Cunningham, watch the spacing he has. Watch what his offensive line does for him up front. Good spacing there, clear vision down the field, and he simply finds Ron Johnson coming right across the middle of the end zone, wide open. 6 points, Eagles.
So from Veterans Stadium, the Eagles lead it 7-0. Tim Ryan with Dan Jiggetts at Veterans Stadium under the lights and cloudy skies. The Eagles have taken the lead, going 80 yards in their opening series. 8 plays culminating in the 11-yard strike from Cunningham to Ron Johnson. Zendejas will kick it off to deep men. McAdoo and Ernie Jones, and the ball out of bounds at near the 10-yard line.
Kickoff, out of bounds. Receiving team will put the ball and play at their own 35.
So the Cardinals will start from their own 35-yard line, and Cliff Stout for the injured Neil Lomax. We'll look at this Eagles defense. What a front four to be looking at. Reggie White, Mike Pitts, Jerome Brown, and Clyde Simmons. And the linebackers Joyner, Reichenbach, and Todd Bell. The secondary, Roynell Young, Eric Allen on the corners, Andre Waters and Wes Hopkins are the safeties. Cunningham getting ready for the next offensive series for Philadelphia, talking to the offensive staff upstairs. It is Cliff Stout's turn to try and make something happen. And with the out-of-bounds kickoff, good field position from the 35. Awalt makes the strong side left. Mitchell for 4. Reggie White made the tackle. And Phoenix with Stout the quarterback, starting with Stump Mitchell and Earl Farrell at running backs. Roy Green, J.T. Smith, Robert Awalt. Excellent receiving core. Sharp, Pete, Kennard, Smith, and Robbins. The kind of offensive line the Eagles would like to get to be if they can keep their players in place and the youngsters grow up. That is a veteran Cardinal line, one of the very best in the NFL. The wide bodies, they are called, and they are wide indeed. 2nd and 6. Mitchell again gets about 3.
Tim, you know, the one thing that the Cardinals want to do is establish the run, because they're going to have some problems throwing the football. Whenever you move a new quarterback into the setup, you have some problems adjusting with the receivers adjusting and all of that. So what you say is, well, we're going to go back to the run because we know we got 2 good running backs in Earl Farrell and Stump Mitchell, so why not do that? The offensive line would prefer to do that as well. Just tee off and knock some people off the football, particularly when you're starting out the ball game.
Running into the middle of that Eagles defensive front on the first 2 plays, and they have left themselves a 3rd and 3. Roy Green in motion. Play action. Stout complete to Green. First down, Cardinals, driven out at the 40-yard line of Philadelphia by Andre Waters.
Roynell Young was covering Roy Green on the play. You see number 81, Roy Green, there on the left side of your screen. Comes up now, runs that out pattern. He knows he's got man-to-man coverage. Roynell is behind him. Cliff Stout throws the ball in the right position. That is right towards the sideline, and Roy Green does the rest. This guy's having an exceptional season as well. I think if you look at 2 receivers in the league who are really combined to do something fabulous this year, it's been Roy Green and J.T. Smith. And main reason why is because of Neil Lomax.
Lomax is spectator today, hopes to be in action next week. The 51st catch of the season for Roy Green. He's got 7 touchdowns to his credit as well. On first down, deep and open, touchdown, Green. A flag back at the line of scrimmage. It looks like holding against the Cardinals, and it is.
And Derek Kennard, number 70, is jumping around. Derek has been called for some holding penalties earlier in the year and feels it's unjust because he feels he's got great position on the player, and the officials just can't believe he's in that kind of a position.
Number 70 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Now he was working against number 92 on that play, Reggie White. right in the middle of your screen, number 92. You see him. He's going to bull rush him. Tries to go past him. And, yeah, Derek's got that jersey. You can see that 92. That 9 is stretching an awful lot.
Well, you know, Ron Heller puts it best about Reggie White. He gets to play against him in practice every day. And Heller says that I've watched him put some of those 300-pounders on their butt a bunch of times. And he said, you know, you're in for a long and potentially embarrassing afternoon when you play against Reggie White. On first down again, this time on the ground out to the into the 45-yard line. Earl Farrell picks up close to 5. And now the receiving corps added to by the Cardinals. Novacek comes on. Ron Wolfley comes in to the backfield. And Ernie Jones, number 86. Second down, 15. Extra defensive backs, Frizzell, Hogue, and Eric Everett into the Eagles secondary. The rush on Stout, and he just got it off. The safety blitz from Andre Waters.
And you saw Andre Waters check with the official and say, was that clean? You know, he's been blamed for so many cheap shots. He wants to check with the officials on every play now when he's coming in on the blitz. That time he's very effective because Cliff Stout could not set up and try to protect himself at the same time he's trying to throw the ball. Now, number 20 right there in the middle of your screen. He's coming in on the safety blitz, gets those hands right up in the quarterback's face, and as a result, Neil Lomax cannot throw. It's Neil Lomax. Cliff Stout can't get the ball downfield. But he's still left his feet again. That's been his problem. He dives at the quarterbacks.
It leaves a third down at 14 for the Cardinals in Eagles territory at the 46. A.T. Smith in motion. Stout, that one is batted away and picked off. Roynell Young with the interception, a flag down after the pickoff.
Some dirty laundry on the play, and I think the reason why is there were a couple of peel-offs on that after the interception.
The ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage by an on-rushing lineman.
I think it might have been Clyde Simmons.
Into the hands of Roynell Young.
Illegal block, number 99, the defense, during the return. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Philadelphia.
Jerome Brown for an illegal block on the return of the intercept.
Now here's the interception. Now watch Cliff Stout looking downfield, and right there in the middle of his face is a, I believe that was a safety coming in from the side, and as a result he threw the interception after it was tipped. Roynell gets the pick. Jerome Brown gets the penalty for throwing a block that probably was below the waist. But you know how those defensive linemen are when they get a chance to pick out an offensive guy that's been hitting them all day. Quite naturally, they want to get a shot.
It was Eric Everett, the rookie, who batted the ball down into the hands of Roynell Young. So the Eagles first down. Keith Byers. Byers gets to the 40-yard line, a pickup of 2. The penalty making the line of scrimmage at the Eagles' 38-yard line. So they'll have 2nd and 8 near their 40. Noga made the tackle for the Cardinals.
Now, when you send someone like Eric Everett in there to jump up in that quarterback space, that's the one thing you want him to do. That's the reason why you want him to leave his feet, because he can also tip that football and give you a secondary an opportunity. Now the Philadelphia Eagles are trying to establish their run game early in this series.
Cunningham intended for Johnson, off the mark, incomplete. It'll leave third down. Randall Cunningham coming into this game passing at 55% of the season, 18 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Last week, somewhat off form just number-wise in passing, 14 of 36 in the driving rainstorm at the Meadowlands. However, he rushed for 65 yards and continues to be the leading rusher on the Eagles team. Cardinals with their 4-0 defense in there. 2 new linebackers, Davis and Harvey, 2 extra defensive backs. Intended for Keith Jackson, broken up by Cedric Mack, number 47, the right cornerback. So the Cardinals hold the Eagles after the interception by Roynell Young. Philadelphia will have to punt.
Sometimes what you want to do as a defensive line is just get in the quarterback's face. That time The Cardinals defensive line ran a stun up front and got Dave Galloway right up in Randall Cunningham's face before he released the football.
Telchik, his first punt. Deep man is J.T. Smith, and he fair catches at the 29-yard line of the Cardinals. Smith taking over those duties from Vi Sikahema, who's on injured reserve. So the Eagles lead it 7-0, 8:08 to go, first quarter. Tim Ryan with Dan Jiggetts, Veterans Stadium, Philadelphia. Cloudy skies, the lights are on, and they're shining so far on the Eagles, who have a 7-0 lead. Taking their opening drive the distance, 80 yards, and a touchdown pass to Ron Johnson from Randall Cunningham. Cardinals with the ball at their own 29-yard line. First down. Stout intended for J.T. Smith, who had 10 catches last week against the Houston Oilers, pardon me, and that one off the mark.
A little pressure that time by number 99, Jerome Brown, who's had an exceptional year in terms of tackles for that defensive line of Philadelphia. Right now he's coming in with 79 into this ball game, and that's an awful lot for a rookie. This guy plays like he's been in the league about 10 years, though. Excuse me, he's a second-year player.
On second down, Farrell gets about 3, close to 4 yards. Farrell coming in with 759 yards on the ground, and that's good for 6th place in the NFC rushing.
Kind of an unsung hero of the Cardinals, too. A guy who gives a lot to the team, and outside of the team, I don't know if that many people really recognize how valuable he is and how much of a contribution Earl Farrell makes to the team. But if you talk to Stump Mitchell, there's no question he'll tell you what the guy's all about.
Oh, he's definitely one of the leaders and one of the most popular players on that Cardinals squad. He's just a class act in every way. Extra defensive backs in for the Eagles, Everett, Frizzell, and Hogue on this third down play. Short drop for Stout, and he is sacked. Brown was there, a blitzing linebacker, Joyner, number 59, and Reggie White led the charge.
Reggie White, number 92, he's right in the middle of your screen. Beside him is Jerome Brown, number 99. Big pressure by Reggie. He's working against Lance Smith and Kennard, and now he comes in, gets up in the face. That gives Jerome time to get over there, too. And Jerome actually falls over on the sack, but Reggie White got the sack. Jerome came out first waving his hand, though. That's always a sign that you can get the sack, at least in terms of the stadium people.
Well, if they give it to White, that's 14 or at least a half a sack, and they have forced the Cardinals to punt. Coming into the game with 13 sacks, Reggie White. Mark Konechny is back to receive the punt, and a pretty good rush by the Eagles on Greg Horn. And what a hit, loose ball, Cardinals have it. Tremendous hit by Ricky Hundley, and the Cardinals have the ball. Mark Konechny saw the ball arrive and a wall of red shirts right ahead of him. And Phoenix with the ball at the Eagles' 35-yard line.
No way Mark Konechny should have been trying to return this football. Now the guy's right on top of him. Hundley's right on top of him as he's trying to catch the ball. That was a foolish play on Konechny's part. Just let that one go, or just simply call a fair catch and catch the ball. Don't try to be a hero when you got the defenders right in your face.
A costly error, a break for the Cardinals. Farrell for about 3. So Phoenix now inside the 35-yard line. They'll spot it at the 32 of the Eagles, and Phoenix trailing 7-0 here in the first quarter. Neil Lomax signaling in the plays to Cliff Stout. You can see on his left wrist there that he's got the short game plan all ready to go. Short list of plays prepared for this game against Philadelphia from the I formation. Mitchell running straight ahead, picks up 3 more. It'll leave 3rd and 2. So the ground game of the Cardinals has been their most effective weapon thus far, and of course Stout and company hope that will set up the pass. Pitts and White made the tackle.
You're always hoping as you come into a game like this that your offensive line is ready to run the football, and of course your running backs are as well, because with a defensive line like the Eagles have, you don't want to be sitting in those third and long situations too many times.
Third down, 2. Stout has his man, Roy Green, driven out of bounds, but he has the first down. Phoenix at the 23-yard line. Eric Allen, the rookie, on the corner, number 21, drove him out.
Now watch right in here. Watch the play right inside in this part of the offensive line, and also watch Wolfley come up and help out his offensive lineman. Right there, he cuts the guy. He hits Mike Fitz right in the face and knocks him to the ground. That's the kind of protection you want to give your quarterback when you're in those tight situations.
So the Cardinals driving now at the 24-yard line. Stout gets some time, can't find a man. Now goes to the short man, Awalt, coming back to help him out. He's hit hard by Roynell Young, and they picked up only a couple of yards on the play. Good coverage deep by the Eagles.
And good coverage by Reggie White along the sideline. I think Cliff Stout definitely had getting rid of the football on his mind. Here we are right down in the pit. Watch Reggie White, number 92. Get good pressure in now. He's going to try to go inside, something they don't allow him to do that much. He tries to jump over Errol Farrell, gets hung up there. Now he's going to pull out and chase Cliff to the sideline.
It leaves second and let's call it 7. He's got nearly 3 on the play. Awalt quickly out to J.T. Smith. The little hitch pass. Smith trying to get to the first down marker. And he'll be close. Yes, he got it at the 11-yard line of the Eagles. Now they're going to spot it right on the 10. So it'll be first and goal for the Phoenix Cardinals. J.T. Smith breaking away from Roynell Young, who had the initial coverage on him on that quick little hitch pass. Andre Waters drove him out at the 10. Cincinnati ahead of Buffalo 7-0. We'll be tracking that big game in the AFC for you. Farrell hit hard at the line of scrimmage. Got a couple. Andre Waters, the safety, coming up with a hit.
Now, Earl tried to run the ball back to his right side. There's a whole offensive line on the backside of the play where he came back to run eventually, was blocking down. So you kind of wonder what he was trying to find on that backside. He had absolutely no protection back there.
It'll leave second and goal with the ball spotted at the 7-yard line. Eagles with their base defense here. Stout with a long count. Gets some time. Now running out of it. And throws it out of bounds as the pressure came from Mike Pitts. But again, the somewhat maligned, and rightfully so statistically, Eagles secondary, Dan, has been doing a good job. Stout's been having difficulty finding an open man deep.
They played excellent man protection down there on the goal line and didn't allow anybody open, even when Cliff was able to roll out a little bit. The other thing that's forcing Cliff Stout not to be comfortable in that pocket is the fact that he's getting a lot of pressure from guys like Mike Pitts, number 74. Sometimes people question whether or not a guy like Mike Pitts can play. You ask the guys that play against him, and they say, this guy's all right.
Well, Louis Sharp singled him out when we talked about how tough this Philadelphia front is. He said, you know, we know about the other guys, and Mike Pitts is playing really well. Third and goal, Cardinals. Touchdown, J.T. Smith. A little slant to the post by the veteran Smith, and Stout had that one all the way.
Well, he had both J.T. and Jay Novacek open on the play. Now they run a little pick over here on the side. Cliff sees it right away, dumps it off to J.T., and you see no one is covering him, and that's because of that little pick that they ran at the top of the play.
So the Cardinals with a chance to tie it up. Using that turnover, the fumbled punt by Mark Konechny to get themselves into Eagles territory.
If J.T. Smith doesn't get invited to the Pro Bowl, there's no justice in the NFL. This guy's been tremendous the last 2 years.
Smith has 64 catches to this point on the season. Del Greco with the point after. And the crowd here at Veterans Stadium is silenced for the time being, as the Cardinals have tied it with 3:17 to go first quarter. Doubleheader day on CBS. Tim Ryan with Dan Jiggetts here at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. A crucial battle in the NFC East. And the Cardinals have just tied it up at 7 here in the first quarter. Tied with the Giants, these two teams, and the Cardinals knowing full well that the victory here today would set them up very well indeed, because they have the Eagles again at home. Kickoff taken at the 3-yard line by Sean Beals. Beals spins away from the first man and then runs into traffic at the 18-yard line of Philadelphia. Initial hit by Michael Brim, just activated today as a reserve defensive back. And a stout 7-yard touchdown pass to the veteran J.T. Smith, tying it up. 35 yards and 8 plays after the fumbled punt by Mark Konechny. 3:19 used up on the clock. Michael Haddix comes in to join Keith Byers in the backfield of the Eagles on first down from their 18. Cunningham 4 of 8 here in the first period. Byers, hit immediately by Anthony Bell. Good coverage by Bell, holding it to about a 2-yard pickup, if that.
And we got holding, I believe it's on Ron Baker, number 63, along the offensive line for the Eagles, who's working against Bob Clasby, who got a little pressure on the play.
DJ Jr. talks it over with Gordon McCarter.
Illegal use of hands, number 63 offense. Jammed to the face. Half the distance in the previous spot, repeat first down.
It's that other little technique that you learn along the offensive line, but the whole key is if you're going to stop a guy and you try to hit him in the chest, many times what happens is your hand will actually slide up on the pads and you end up getting around that neck area. Now that's the area where you know you're going to get a penalty. Also, sometimes you try to slow a defensive lineman up by just jamming them real quick and getting off. And sometimes you hit the head, and that's what causes the penalties.
Well, it backs him up to the 10-yard line. End off inside to Tony. And the Cardinals stuffed that. Could be a loss on the play. Certainly didn't get past the line of scrimmage. Good job by Nico Noga and Bob Clasby. There's Noga, number 57, 5-year man out of Hawaii.
And Bob Clasby, number 79 for the Cardinals defense, is one of those guys that very quietly goes along and does his job. A Notre Dame guy who I'm sure is very pleased by the developments out in California yesterday when Notre Dame beat USC. You have not let me forget that either.
No, I certainly haven't, and I'm sure Bob Clasby, like all of his fellow alumni, are pretty excited about the events yesterday. And I know that Tim McDonald, his teammate from USC, is not a happy man. Jimmy Giles comes in with Michael Haddix into the offense of the Eagles here on second down. From the goal line, Cunningham upfield and just overthrows Johnson. Number 85, the intended receiver, will leave third down and 20.
We talked earlier about Randall Cunningham possibly sprinting out, pulling out, getting to the sideline. That time he tried to roll up behind his offensive tackle and throw the football just slightly out of the pocket. But Ron Sadler was right in his face when he tried to throw the football, and as a result, he had to release it and chunk it. He couldn't follow through like he wanted to, and that's why it sailed over the receiver's head.
Sadler getting his starting job back this week. He did not start last week because he had missed some practices, having to attend to some personal family matters. Steve Alvord has been getting quite a bit of time with the man. Inside little shuffle pass there to Haddix, but does not get much, and a few boos from this very demanding crowd and the vet.
Now the reason why this play works though is watch down here. Here's a game run down in here. They're crossing over, and as a result you're going to see Haddix kind of come right back through there on the shovel pass. Now watch this play. There those defensive linemen. Galloway runs away. Haddix slips back through and gets some yardage on the play, but not enough. If he had been able to stand up, he might have been able to get the first down.
Telchik running out of the end zone. Has the first down. Wow. How about that for guts?
A little bit of a high snap on the play, but don't forget this guy, John Telchik, was an All-American down in Texas as a high school safety. This guy's got great athletic ability. High snap, he just grabs it, takes off with it. This was all set up, though, because you can see his blockers downfield. And boy, he does a nice job of running the football.
Well, I tell you something, he had plenty of time to kick it, even with the high snap. from David Little, his long snapper, but he saw the opening there. Now that is a guts ball play. Of course, if he doesn't make it, it doesn't look so good. Cunningham on first down. He's going deep for Johnson. Double coverage, intercepted. Picked off by Lester Lyles for the Cardinals down at the 12-yard line. Well, that's better than any punt that Telchik could have kicked from his end zone, if you look at it that way. For the Cardinals, they've got the ball.
The difficult thing is Cunningham is running to his right and throwing back to his left, and you can see he just doesn't get set up, lofts the ball a little bit too high to the receiver, and Lyles has all kinds of time to come up and intercept the football, and he does.
We'll be back at Veterans Stadium in a moment. Two big plays back-to-back, but this guy made the second one, and the Cardinals have the ball. Lester Lyles, his first start in the place of the injured Lonnie Young. Four-year man from Virginia, picked up on waivers from the Jets, intercepting Randall Cunningham at the Cardinal 12. On first down, Mitchell hit right at the line of scrimmage, no gain. And Clyde Simmons, number 96, the hero a week ago against the Giants, who picked up that blocked field goal attempt by Zendejas and ran it in for the winning score in overtime.
And 2 weeks ago, he was the hero as well when he blocked the field goal attempt against the Steelers, and that saved the ball game for the Eagles in overtime before we went to overtime in that game. We were fortunate enough to be there to call that one.
That was an exciting game. Time winding down first quarter here under dreary skies in Philadelphia, but an exciting first period with the score. The Phoenix Cardinals 7, the Philadelphia Eagles 7.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered draft taste, it's as real as it gets. Miller Brewing is the exclusive beer sponsor of today's telecast. RCA #1 with the toughest critics in the world. And by Toyota, there's quality. Who could ask for anything more?
Well, there's all kinds of interesting folks here at the game today in Philadelphia. Tim Ryan with Dan Jiggetts, and Alf makes an appearance wearing an Eagles jersey. We always wondered who he was pulling for in the NFL. Buddy Ryan will take all the support he can get from the fans here at the Vet. 7-7. Cardinals, second down at their own 15-yard line. 2nd and 7 for Cliff Stout and company. Roy Green in motion. And early movement, you saw Jerome Brown jump across into the neutral zone. Gordon McCarter with the call.
Encroachment, 99, defense, contact before the snap. 5 yards, still second down.
Jerome Brown had 17 tackles last week against the Giants. I mean, that's a busy afternoon.
Yeah, this guy's something else. And you know what? The thing that he's so concerned about is how he's perceived as a football player. He wants to make sure that he's getting the kind of respect around the league that he feels he so richly deserves. And let's face it, this guy's a good football player as a young guy on that defensive line.
The penalty makes it 2nd and 2 for the Cardinals out at their 20. Farrell, not much. They are continuing, Dan, to try and run straight ahead between the guards, let alone the tackles here in their running game. And it seems like in the last few tries, Eagles starting to shut that down.
Well, the reason why the Cardinals run in between the tackles, and Gene Stallings was talking to us about it yesterday, he feels that's where they're most effective, and the main reason why is you have to have a burner if you're going to get outside. If you're going to try to run outside, you got to have a guy that does a 4-4 when you want to turn that corner. And also, you look at the strength of their offensive line. They're big guys. They don't get real good movement in terms of pulling out, but straight ahead, they're awfully good.
Well, they got the first down with a squeezed out couple of yards by Farrell. Goes to the air on first down. He is in trouble. Close to the first down. A nice piece of running by Cliff Stout. Now the Eagles respect his running ability. They said that is the big difference. Sure, Lomax with the great pass stats and is certainly the main man, but Stout gives that running dimension to them.
And here, the pressure is going to come from Reggie White up at the top of your screen now. He's working against Tootie Robbins, gives him a bull rush. and also Jerome Brown. They collapse the pocket inside. Reggie has him in the grass, but no control there. Mike Pitts tries to make the sack, but he's not fast enough to catch Cliff Stout, who brings that athletic dimension ability to the quarterback position for the Cardinals. Neil Lomax is not quite as nifty a foot as Cliff Stout is.
Second and short. They have the first down. Farrell forced back, but he was well over the line of scrimmage. Picked up about 3 yards on the play. So the Cardinals will have a first down at about their 37-yard line.
Once again, you start thinking about guys like Earl Farrell and Stunt Mitchell, and you start looking at what their capabilities are in terms of running between those tackles. That's where they're going to be most effective, and that's where you can expect to see that Cardinal rushing game at.
Phoenix with 46 yards rushing. The Eagles with 36 at the edge, as Dan has described. Figures to go to the Cardinals today. They've just been doing it better. They've got that veteran offensive line. The Eagles are starting to really crowd things up in the middle to shut it down. Stout again escapes. Picks up about 4 yards, trying to find somebody deep on the scramble, unable to do so, and Seth Joyner drove him out.
I tell you what, Cliff Stout looks like he might have put Vaseline on his uniform today. That defensive line of the Eagles just can't seem to trap him when they want to. Good pressure here, though. He doesn't have any time to set up and throw the football. He's got to run out of the pocket and look downfield, and he's getting late heat at that. Now, the key question is, did Seth Joyner hit him after he was out of bounds? I think so. That was a little bit of a late hit on the sideline. Seth Joyner was running all the way across the field. I guess when you figure that you run that far, you want to hit somebody.
Joyner, another Eagle who had a big defensive day last week against the Giants. On second down, Farrell grinds it out, and he'll be close to another first down.
Well, I tell you what, those wide bodies up front for the Cardinals are doing an awfully nice job in the running game, moving people off the football. That time I saw Lance Smith take his man downfield and get a pancake block. That's the kind of thing, if you're an offensive line coach or a connoisseur of the offensive line, you like to see.
Well, we know you're a connoisseur. Would you give that an 8?
I'd give that an 8, 8.5.
Okay. Phoenix has had the ball much of the game thus far.
And that the reason why is because they're controlling the running game, and when you control that running game, you control the clock as well.
Extra linebacker in, Byron Evans on the third and short. Waters comes out. A.T. Smith in motion, and what a play by Brown, and good effort by Mitchell. Mike Pitts pulled him down, and it looks like they stopped him short.
Boy, I tell you what, that was a great matchup there. Jerome Brown got the best of Derek Kennard. Watch him right in here. Watch Jerome Brown just take Derek Kennard back. Jerome Brown is in control of this block. It looks like he's the offensive lineman, and he jars Kennard back into his running back, and Stump Mitchell has nowhere to run. He's all dressed up, but he runs out of space.
Well, they're going to measure it. Good effort by Mitchell to get away from Brown. And what a play by Jerome Brown. They make the measurement here. One of the interesting stories about Jerome Brown occurred last June down in Brooksville, Florida, his hometown. The community down there knows Brown is a tough guy. They know he's a nice guy and a man who cares about his community. There was a little Ku Klux Klan meeting going on. So they asked Jerome to come by there and see if he could influence those lads to scatter. Well, he did. He came by in his truck. He had the stereo blaring, and he carried a little sign that said, "Go away, KK," and they went away. And probably because they had visions of Jerome on a play like we just saw there. Fourth down. Ron Wolfley comes into the backfield as the Cardinals will go for it. Hard to say.
Stout tripped on the play when he was turning around to hand the football off. That was the first problem that they ran into, and also the defensive line for the Eagles got a good surge on the play.
And there's Brown right there in the middle of it again, number 99, with that initial charge from the middle of that Eagles front. The right tackle, but they got the first down. Earl Farrell had the muscle and got enough.
Now watch Cliff Stout on the play as he spins around to hand the ball off. He's falling down. Earl Farrell does his job, though. He punishes that defensive line, getting a good surge up in there, and his offensive line tees off on a couple of people as well.
So the Cardinals make the big fourth down play inside their own 50, inside the midfield stripe. And on first down, Mitchell down to the Eagles' 41-yard line. A big play by Farrell sets it up for Mitchell, and they pick up another first down.
And on this play, Scott Dills replaced Louis Sharp at offensive left tackle. You see him right there at the bottom of your screen, 74. He's working against Clyde Simmons, who tries to put a move on there, get the rip. He isn't lucky enough to do that. Neil Lomax once again, Cliff Stout has time to throw the ball to Stump Mitchell. Stump does a nice run downfield. But the whole thing is that Neil, when he gets time, Cliff, when he gets time, has an opportunity to throw the ball downfield.
I don't want you to feel bad about that, because there's a guy that in his first 56 games in the NFL didn't get on the field behind Terry Bradshaw. So he's still a newcomer. A sack. Second of the day by the Eagles.
Seth Joyner and Reggie White in on the play, but there's some penalty flags downfield. See Seth Joyner's holding that elbow. He banged it on the turf of the beard. And that's a painful thing. You get that burster sack when you hit it on that hard AstroTurf.
That what?
A burster sack right in the tip of your elbow. When you hit it on that turf, it pops.
Holding, number 43, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, a big penalty against the Eagles. Holding downfield, evidently, against Roynell Young. And after the sack by the Eagles, it goes for naught instead. It's first down. Cardinals now at the 36-yard line, just over the 35. Farrell with a good hold. Gets to about the 30-yard line.
What's interesting is to watch the run selection of Gene Stallings' offense, and what they're doing is they're trying to pick along that offensive line, run a couple of counters, a little some cutbacks along there, and they're having some success, at least on individual matchups, and being able to run that football against the Eagles defensive line. That also keeps the pressure off Cliff Stout.
Helped by the penalty, 2nd and 6. A good drive going here for the Cardinals. We're tied at 7 in the second quarter at Philadelphia. Stump Mitchell. Reichenbach made the tackle on him. Pickup of about 4 for Mitchell. Leave 3rd and a yard.
From the outside. With a completely healthy Stump Mitchell, quite possibly you may be able to get around that sideline and run the ball around the corner. But the other thing you have to have is good blocking out of your tight end. And that time Robert Awalt, number 80 for the Cardinals, did a nice job blocking his man and cutting him off to that sideline, and that gives Stump the opportunity to get upfield.
Neil Lomax, some encouraging words for Mitchell. Ron Wolfley comes in to replace him on 3rd and short. Evans comes back in for Waters. Stout going deep. Incomplete. Intended for Novacek, the tight end. Linebacker had the coverage, number 52, Todd Bell.
Jay Novacek usually matches up against cornerbacks because of his speed. Now he's a tight end. Here you see him, he's got good position on the play. He's working against Todd Bell, and that ball was just thrown just a little bit too long, but it was actually in a nice position. Had Jay had another step on Bell, he would have had the touchdown. Stout, if he had thrown the ball a little bit shorter, I think he'd have been in trouble in terms of an interception on the play. So it was a good selection by Cliff Stout.
Al Del Greco will attempt the Cardinal field goal from the 35-yard line. A 45-yard attempt. He's got a 51-yarder to his credit this year. That one was partially blocked, it appeared, at the line of scrimmage. So the Cardinals come up empty after a good drive. And that does not bring a smile to the face of Gene Stallings. 9:50 to go, first half. Well, there's a quick look at what's happened so far. 2 turnovers by the Eagles, 1 by Phoenix, and the Phoenix Cardinals had a touchdown call back with a penalty, and then they saw the missed field goal right here from 45 yards away because it was tipped.
By number 96, Clyde Simmons. Watch him right about there. He gets that hand on the football and tips Al Del Greco's field goal attempt. Once again, Clyde Simmons right in the middle of the mix.
We are tied at 7. Eagles have the ball at their own 27-yard line. Cunningham incomplete. Intended for Johnson. Lyles had the coverage. We're talking about Ron Johnson getting a chance to come back to the Eagles after the injuries to Mike Quick and Greg Garrity. He was working out on a junior college field in Monterey, California, with a friend he described as a great sandlot player, a guy by the name of Mike Woody. He'd been cut by the Eagles, and his wife said, "I'll bet you $100 that they call you if they have an injury." Well, she was right. I assume he gave her the money. He is back earning some as an Eagle. Incomplete, intended for the tight end, Keith Jackson. Good coverage by Tim McDonald and E.J. Jr. breaking it up.
That's the one area, if you have your young tight end, you want him to be able to come across that middle, right in there in the middle of everybody and grab that football. Keith Jackson is more of a down the field type of a tight end. You know, he's averaging about 10 yards a catch. But most of his receptions have been down the field a little bit more, not necessarily right across the middle of the field.
3rd and 10. Eagles have not had the ball much in this first half. They would really like a first down. Flags are down, and they won't get it there. That's out of bounds, depending on the penalty. They may or may not get another chance. Intended for Jackson. Cedric Mack on the coverage near the sideline.
A couple of people jumping along that Cardinal defensive line.
So the Eagles get a life.
Offside, defensive right tackle, 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
Well, the defensive right tackle should be Rod Sadler.
There is Ted Plum standing alongside Buddy Ryan. Ted is the offensive coordinator for the Eagles, and the guy's kind of responsible for developing Randall Cunningham along with Doug Scoville, the quarterback coach. These guys think a lot of Randall Cunningham's ability.
3rd down and 5. Cunningham just gets it away, incomplete. Good pressure by the Cardinals, and it was David Galloway, number 65, with the heat on Cunningham.
This young offensive line for the Eagles has been slowly but surely developing, but here a good pressure by the defensive line of the Cardinals collapses the pocket on Randall Cunningham, and he is lucky to get this one off. Dave Galloway said, "I'm sackless. I need a sack this year. I need something to kind of get me going." There, he almost got it against Randall Cunningham. He's rather adamant about that the other day when we were talking to him.
Telchik's punt. J.T. Smith takes it on the fly at the 31-yard line, dropped immediately. First contact by Terry Hove. So J.T. Smith, a little scuffle upfield.
Yeah, Ron Wolfley's getting into it, making sure everybody knows he's out there and he's active. You can see him. He wants to get back out there a little bit.
Yeah, he's pushing his own teammates around, or he wants to stay in it. We'll be back at Veterans Stadium in a moment. Back at Veterans Stadium, a 7-7 tie on the second quarter here. 9:22 to go in the first half. Tim Ryan and Dan Jiggetts, and the Cardinals have had the best of this. They've had the ball most of the way. Had a touchdown call back, or they'd be in front.
That's right, and the whole thing is they've been able to run the football, though, and they've really dried up that clock as a result of that.
Cliff Stout for the injured Neil Lomax, and connects there out the right side to Roy Green. Gain of about 7 on the play. Cliff Stout, we mentioned, started his career playing behind Terry Bradshaw in Pittsburgh, and first 56 games never got off the bench. And though he's been in pro ball for 12 seasons, he's really only had about 4 years of playing experience.
He had some great years, though, in the USFL and posted some numbers that were very respectable, and as a result, everyone was interested in it.
Farrell trying for the first down on 2nd and 2, and it looks like he's got it. And he does. So the Cardinals' ground game continues to grind away that big front of the Eagles. Andre Waters and Jerome Brown combining to stop Earl Farrell.
You start thinking about tiebreakers when you're tied atop the NFC East, and one of the things that the Eagles have an advantage over the Cardinals in is wins and losses within their own division, that is the NFC East. And as a result of that, this game is extremely important for the Cardinals to win.
Well, they've got the Eagles one more time out in Phoenix on first down. Stout gets some time, and he's got his man Roy Green for a first down. Eagles territory at the 43-yard line. Roy Green just goes on and on, the 31-year-old veteran from Henderson State. has to be the most distinguished football alumnus from Henderson State, I would say.
Well, the thing that he says is, hey, look, you know, I watch for tendencies. Every defense has tendencies, and I don't care if the player's young or old. He's been around a long time. They try to disguise him, whatever. He watches enough film and enough tape and develops, a book on each player that he's playing against, and he says that's what helps him in the ball game.
To Farrell, and Farrell turns it into about a 7-yard pickoff. Now, it looked like somebody must have stepped on Stout's foot there, Dan, pulling back.
Well, one of the other problems is right in that area of the field, and I believe that might be second base for the Philadelphia Phillies. You can see these boards running around, and it's very easy to trip on those boards. As a matter of fact, his right foot is resting right on it. Now he pulls out, and he also gets stepped on by Lance Smith, number 61. Those two things combine to make him fall down, but Earl Farrell makes a nice run and avoids a hazard there in the middle of the field.
Good job to get the handoff.
Absolutely.
Reichenbach made the tackle. It's 2nd and 2. Taken, run by Stout, and has the first down. Little bootleg by Stout. He had a lot of running room out the right side.
Well, this was set up as a sweep over to the left. Now watch everybody take off over there. No blocking in the backside. He just decides to keep the ball, fakes the handoff, and makes a nice little run. And the key thing is for him, he slides down there before he gets a shot.
Down to the 28-yard line. Stout's third carry. He's got 21 yards. And as we said, the Eagles know that he can be a dangerous runner. First down, the pass too low for the intended receiver, Awalt, number 80.
I quite honestly expected to see the Cardinals go more to the tight end today than they have so far in this game. That's the second pass that's been thrown to a tight end. The first one was Jay Novacek on the long one, and now you've got Robert Awalt going down for the pass. But the reason why is because I think that the Eagles' defense, their linebackers have a hard time covering tight ends. And if you remember back when Buddy Ryan was in Chicago, his linebackers had a hard time covering tight ends as well, and that's because they're put in one-on-one situations. And Robert Awalt is a guy who should have a big day against the Eagles.
2nd and 10. Stout for Awalt. Down the sideline, out of bounds. He's out of bounds, but he has the first down. Stepped on the sideline at the 17-yard line.
We were talking about the tight ends that should have a big day against his defense. Here he's working against Seth Joyner. That's Robert Awalt, makes a nice reception over the shoulder. Now right about there, he steps out of bounds, trying to make that turn after he got out of the pass reception to get into the end zone. But Gene Stallings will say, hey, I'll take that.
Cardinals with a good drive, threatening now at the 17-yard line of Philadelphia. 6:22 to go, first half. Game tied at 7. And Cliff Stout not like what he saw in front of him and takes a timeout.
Number 1.
6:22 on the clock. Stout will confer with Gene Stallings. We'll be back. Tim Ryan and Dan Jiggetts. 6:22 to go. First half in Philadelphia. Cardinals threatening from the 17-yard line.
I look for Cliff Stout to go to J.T. Smith on this play. So I'm talking right before we came back on the air. J.T. was paying very close attention.
Earl Farrell. Touchdown. Beautiful piece of running by Farrell. A huge hole on the right side. Eagles definitely looking for pass.
Well, they were setting up for the pass, and maybe Cliff's setting all that up when he's talking to JT. But here, rolls back, hands the ball up. Earl Farrell makes a nice run off the right side. Good blocking by Tootie Robbins over there. Sets it up. Earl hurdles the guy and gets into the end zone. Here you see that guy who we said earlier, this guy doesn't get enough credit sometimes for all that he brings to the Cardinal offense. He gets so excited about himself, but the other thing is Stump Mitchell is the guy, his running partner, gets so excited about what Earl Farrell brings to the Cardinals offense.
30-year-old veteran from Eastern Tennessee State. in his 7th year, and he's having a career year. Del Greco's point after is good. I want to talk about quiet. If you can find a Cardinal fan here in Veterans Stadium, boy, you'd have to be the FBI. We'll be right back. The Cardinals have just scored to take the lead, 14-7, 6:15 to go in the first half here at Veterans Stadium. Dreary skies and a quiet crowd here as the Cardinals have taken the lead, and the Eagles have had the ball for only 28 seconds in the second period. Randall Cunningham and company have not had any chance to work the Cunningham magic. They'll get the ball now. Beals and Konechny are the deep men for Del Greco's kickoff. Sean Beals from the 4. Out to the 30-yard line where Ken Harvey made the stop.
And no one made the stop on this play. This is a touchdown run. Watch Lance Smith. He goes back and he comes up to block Reichenbach. And also Tootie Robbins gets a good block on the draw play. And Earl Furl simply does the rest. This is a beautiful run. Here you see him, number 31, coming right down the middle of your screen. And watch this hurdle right here. Ooh, right there. Now dives into the end zone. We talked all about this guy and what he brings to that offense. I don't think you can overestimate it.
First down, Eagles at the 30-yard line. Nowhere. Good defensive reaction by the Cardinals. Got only to the line of scrimmage.
Tim McDonald was on that play like a cheap suit. Number 46 came up from the secondary and really forced the play right away. Michael Haddix turned around and he saw something he didn't want to see, and that's Tim McDonald.
Now, we just mentioned moments ago how the Eagles have had it for only 28 seconds. You can see Phoenix in total control of the ball through this stage of the second period. 2nd and 10 Eagles. Sideline for Myers. He's got it. Hit immediately by Cedric Mack, but a gain of about 9.
One of the hardest things for linebackers to do is cover a back coming out of the backfield. Now watch Haddix, number 26. He peels off out of there. Byers is also open downfield. Puts a lot of pressure on those linebackers. They can't decide which one to take. And suddenly you find a guy like Keith Byers open downfield. And certainly Randall Cunningham gets the football to him. But the thing about Byers that you have to like is the guy stayed here all offseason, couldn't practice the running game. So what he did was he worked with the quarterbacks catching the football. And as a result, he's had a lot of success this year in the passing game. But he's also got a little foot problem there, it appears, or maybe a knee.
Timeout, injury timeout taken by the Eagles. And it is a 3rd down and 3 when we resume. And as you can see, we talked about the importance of this game. You've got the Eagles and Phoenix tied up there at 7-5 with the Giants. The Giants play later this evening. Washington not out of it at 6-6, but struggling certainly.
But the whole key is you see versus the division, the 3-1, 2-2, and 4-3 for the Giants, and you come into that tie-breaking system. That's what makes the difference as well.
The Cardinals well aware that they've got that second shot at the Eagles, and they have them at home. Now we have word from the Chicago Green Bay game that Mike Tomczak twisted his left wrist. That's not his passing hand, but has left the game, and Jim Harbaugh is in a quarterback for the Bears who lead Green Bay 7-0. Still in the first half at Chicago. 3rd down and 3. Cunningham sacked to the 25-yard line by Ken Harvey, the rookie from California. That's what they've been expecting from this young man, and that's his 5th sack of the year.
Right out in this area here, you see Ken Harvey right here. He's going to come right in. Randall's going to try to roll out a little bit, but he's going to meet him at the pass on the play. Now, one of the things the Cardinals like to do is they like to rush Harvey as the 4th guy, and there he makes the play on Randall Cunningham. That's why you want to rush somebody like him.
Telchik will have to kick it away for the Eagles. J.T. Smith waiting for it at the 34-yard line, nearly blocked. The ball deflected and rolls out of bounds inside Eagle territory at the 48.
And you saw
Michael Grimm, who came charging in to get a hand on it.
You saw Telchik spin around right after he kicked the ball. He thought the ball had been blocked, and he's turning around in the end zone to look for it right after he kicks the ball. Watch his head here. He just spins right around and looks for the football.
McDonald and Michael Brim both right in on top of him.
It's a great play on the special teams by the Cardinals and good athletic ability on the part of John Telchik to get that football off.
Well, we've seen him make 2 big plays under the pressure of a high snap, and this time the rush. First down, Cardinals in Eagles territory. 4:30 to go, first half. They lead by 7. Stout to the short man Farrell, not much, maybe a yard. Good pressure by the rush, good coverage downfield. And it is the linebacker Byron Evans on the tackle.
Byron Evans is another one of those guys who the Eagles were counting on very much this season as they came into the season. He's a young player who had a little problem early in the season developing, but certainly they feel confident enough of him now to put him in the game, spot play him a bit.
Playing for Mike Reichenbach. 2nd and 7. Stout gets some time. Sideline complete. J.T. Smith breaks away from the tackle of Roynell Young and has a Cardinal first down, and that brings out the Boo Birds.
This much maligned secondary of the Eagles, again, that's one of the reasons why if you have poor tackling there, in that case, Roynell Young did not tackle very well on the play, and as a result, receiver slips away from him. There's no excuse for that along the sideline. Make the stop.
So Young has been replaced by rookie Eric Everett, number 42 out of Texas Tech, the number 4 pick this year. And the Cardinals keep it moving inside the 30. Pitch pass to J.T. Smith, and he goes by Eric Everett this time, down to the 20-yard line. Andre Waters made the stop there.
Once again, poor tackling on the play. Play should have gone for only about a yard or so. Instead, he goes for about 4 or 5. Ground level now. Watch over the far side of your screen up in the top. J.T. Smith on the hitch. He doesn't move off the line of scrimmage. Gets the ball. Nice little shake move here. And now he gets downfield, and Waters is there to make the tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Now the Eagles send Roynell Young back in after I'm sure he got a little talking to. He's back at the left corner spot. 2nd and a long 2. Stout, J.T. Smith to the 2-yard line. Roynell Young made the tackle there, but Stout finding J.T. Smith again.
What you want to get out of your cornerbacks is some in-your-face defense, and they're not getting it. The Philadelphia Eagles, that is, are not getting it. And as a result, J.T. Smith is open, coming back across the middle there. You see Roynell hadn't closed on him yet after the ball had even been delivered.
67.
They spot the ball at the 3-yard line. 2:30 to go. First half. Cardinals on the doorstep again. Ray Brown and Jane Novacek come in. Offensively for the Cardinals. They give us to Farrell. Loose ball. Eagles have it. Lance Smith stripped it away.
Reggie White comes up with the fumble, but I think the key player here is Andre Waters when he comes in and slants in off of that left side of your screen. There, he strips the ball out of Earl Farrell's hands. Reggie White is down there to recover the fumble. That's what has to happen when if you're a good team, you get in that kind of a situation, somebody comes up with the big play. In that case, it was Andre Waters and Reggie White.
Reggie White with a big play, and the Eagles stop the Cardinals down at the 3-yard line. On first down, Byers out to the 10. And we'll reach the 2-minute warning here with the Eagles fans looking for something to cheer about here.
Well, the Eagles are kind of limited in their running game, and we'll get back to that when we come back in a couple of minutes.
Phoenix leads the Eagles 14-7. Tim Ryan with Dan Jiggetts. You're looking at Andre Waters, who stripped that ball away, and Reggie White recovered it. So Andre Waters shaking off the fine he received from the NFL office, and maybe he'll get a little bonus for making the defensive play.
him a speaking engagement or something. Let him get the 1,500 back.
Phoenix has had the ball much of this second quarter, and perhaps too much dependence being placed on Miracle Man Randall Cunningham by the Eagles. They've left it up to him again, and Michael Haddock's loose ball, a pile-up, a little shovel pass there again. And the Cardinals say they have it. Let's see what the officials say. They're pointing Philadelphia. Alexander, number 72, came up with a loose ball. Now a little discussion.
Watch these officials when they're in their discussion. They don't want anybody else to get in that group there. See, they're having a little private deal going on right now. But I think what they're talking about is who had, number one, who had possession and what exactly happened on the play. But it doesn't make any difference because I think the Eagles are going to get the football here anyway.
Well, did he catch the ball? Because if he didn't, it's an incomplete pass. If he didn't have full possession of the ball, it's a forward pass.
The discussion was whether or not the shovel pass was incomplete or whether possession was gained and later fumbled. We have ruled completed pass, fumble, recovered by the Eagles. We go to third down.
Well, the Eagles keep the ball either way on that score.
As I was saying, now here on the shovel pass, Randall flips it off up underneath, but the problem is, you know, there's a lineman in the way, and it's Ron Baker. And as a result, the running back trips over him just as he's trying to get through the hole.
I don't know that that was a completed pass looking at that replay, but what did it cost him? Not much. It's third down, and the ball is at the 6-yard line. So Cunningham from the shotgun standing on the goal line. Eagles need to get something going here in this 2-minute drill. Cunningham likes the 2-minute drill. Backs into the end zone. Finds a man, fires, it breaks away and lost the ball. And it looks like Phoenix ball. The Cardinals have it at the 12-yard line. Cunningham made a good play to Byers, and Byers broke a tackle, but then coughed it up.
Well, he had to leave his feet to make the catch. Now watch him. He's going to come right down the middle of your screen. Number 41, Keith Byers. Cunningham fires his ball. He starts to run, fires the ball, and now Byers is up in the air, spinning around here. And Cedric Mack gets a shoulder in there, and as a result, the ball drops out. Wayne Davis gets the football, and Gene Starling says, yeah, baby. Yeah, all right.
Tremendous opportunity for Phoenix here. 1:22 to go. First down at the Eagles' 17-yard line. Another score by the Cardinals to turn this into a nightmare for the Eagles. Stout, lots of time, can't find a man. Throws it off. Stump Mitchell, driven out of bounds after a gain of a couple by Andre Waters.
Cliff's dodged a bullet there. He says, yeah, I'm glad you were standing there, Stump. You take it. I don't want it. Stump gains about a yard on the play, though.
Stout has been very calm and relaxed, and I think that permeates through your teammates. Obviously, they're on top, but still a long way to go in this game. It's just a 14-7 lead. I think that attitude he's showing out there is a very good thing for the Cardinals. Novacek and Wolfley come in for Phoenix, 2nd and 9. J.T. Smith again. Hit by Eric Allen, but he's inside the 10 to the 9. It'll leave third and about 2.
Once again, when you get down in this area, it's hard to play in-your-face defense, and certainly the Eagles secondary has had that kind of a problem. You want to get right up in that receiver's face and don't allow him to cut inside, because of 5 yards down here, and suddenly, you know, another 5 yards, you're right on the goal line.
We have a timeout here at Veterans Stadium. 52 seconds to play, first half. Tim Ryan with Dan Jiggetts. You're looking at Buddy Ryan on the sidelines.
67 are eligible.
Cardinals with the ball at the 9-yard line. Ray Brown has come in. He'll line up as the left tight end, and that makes him an eligible receiver. You heard that from the officials on the field. Terry Hogue and Byron Evans in defensively for Philadelphia. 3rd and 2. Little play action. Stout for Novacek. Overthrows. Incomplete. 4th down. 6 new defenders come on here for the anticipated field goal try.
Now, one thing about Buddy Ryan defenses is these guys always know how to block kicks. When he was at Minnesota, they did it. When he was at Chicago, they did it. Now he's there at Philadelphia. They're doing it again. Watch the pressure. They'll pick out one guy along that line, and they'll pinch 3 guys in on him and try to get to the football.
Well, they got a hand on his last try, a 45-yarder. This one is from the 16-yard line. A 26-yard attempt. And it is wide to the right. Del Greco missing. Wide right. Stallings can't believe that one. Bad enough to have one tipped away wide, but when you miss from 26, that's indigestion time. 44 seconds remain in the first half.
And the one thing Gene Stallings is thinking is that changes the complexion of the second half, because, you know, if you came back in the second half with that field goal, then the other guys need, you know, 2 scores to get back in the ball game.
Well, coming up at halftime, Brent Irv and Dick will get you up to date on all the scores and highlights. Possible upsets in the making as we come down to this stretch run. Leslie Visser will have the story of the rebirth of the Cardinals in Arizona. All coming up at halftime. Another loose ball. Haddix dropped it, and the Cardinals have it again. Haddix made the catch.
Now, the question on this one is going to be your possession, though, because he was still sliding, didn't really have control of the football. Let's see what the ruling is on the play.
Well, it was definitely different than the Byers situation where he started to run with it. But will they rule it a completed pass and a fumble? Lester Lyles came up with it for the Cardinals. I got to believe this is in replay heaven at the moment.
It's up there with the instant delay.
Was that a quorum or a minion we got out there?
Well, they want to make sure they get it right. You can't blame them for that. You blame them for a lot of other things.
Well, I think that's definitely going to be looked at by Chuck Heberling, a former referee himself, who's the replay official today.
The ruling of the discussion is interception, first down.
Now watch in the middle of your screen. That's where Haddix is going to be, number 26. He's on the pass pattern there. He got a little jam at the line of scrimmage, releases downfield. Now, how long does he have that football? He never really has control of the football.
No, he never
There's
had
no
it
way
at
that
all.
that's an interception. And the ball looks like it's on the ground as well when it's supposedly intercepted or fumble or whatever. But he never had control of the football.
Well, it was a possible interception from that view, but
they are
as you
reviewing
say, you think it hit the ground. It definitely was not a completion. That's
No way.
for sure.
And they are reviewing the play now, and I suspect that this one will be reversed.
I love these shots we get of the replay guys. You know, they're always behind the glass there. It's kind of mysterious. You know, what's going on in there? You know, it's
Chuck Heberling is a guy who's been around the league for a long time. He didn't have to hide from us, but here's another look right down the middle of your screen. Watch between the hash marks. That's where you're going to see Haddix come in. Now watch, he never has control of the ball. He's bobbling it all the way. There you see him, he looks like a juggler in the circus there.
But is it picked off?
And that ball is on the ground right there. There's no way that's a pick-off.
Ooh, well, did he have his hands underneath? I don't know. That's a tough one.
He'd have to be a minor to have his hands underneath.
That might be your line of the year, Daddy. I like that.
But see, Lyles is doing the right thing. He's kind of just laying low there, you know, waiting for him to make the decision.
He's got a pick on one glove and a shovel on the other. Was that the deal there? Well, we'll have to wait and see. That I think what we determined certainly was that it was not ever a completed pass. Question whether it was a incomplete pass is what it is.
And again, here's the reason why. You can see very clearly Michael Haddix never really has control of the football there. Tries to catch it. He's juggling it all the way. Ball goes up in the air. Lyles tries to scoop it up, but you can see he's dragging it along the ground. So I think in this case, the instant replay came in and made the right kind of call. Gene Stallings obviously doesn't agree.
Stallings saying that he did catch the ball, meaning his man, Lyles. But what a break here for Philadelphia. If you can call it a break, that might not be the correct term to use, but nonetheless, with the way things are going for them in the first half, that's a a huge play. 37 seconds left. They keep the ball from the Cardinals. And Cunningham will try to make something happen. Incomplete. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Ron Johnson. Ball was a little low, but it was right there for Johnson. He just didn't hold on. Looked like it hit him in the shoulder pads. They're right high on his chest.
He tried to put on the brakes over there, and that turf is a little slippery along the sideline, and maybe that's why he couldn't come back to the football.
32 seconds left. Cunningham making it apparent that they're going to try and make something happen here, even though they're back at their own 20-yard line. Third down. Rush from Dunn. Cunningham and his pass receiver fell down. A little greasy out there. Keith Jackson, the intended receiver, he slipped, as Dan had pointed out Ron Johnson had just done. Morning rains here have left this artificial turf a little slippery.
And here all this time I thought it might have been one of those cheesesteak subs.
So Philadelphia will have to punt. 25 seconds left. Cardinals will get one more shot.
The Eagles have been making the punting game an adventure as well.
Well, that one clean and a good kick by Telchik. J.T. Smith at his 34-yard line. Out to the 40, drop there and leaving 15 seconds in this first half. David Little on the tackle.
JT's 33 years old. You mean to tell me you got to put a 33-year-old guy back there to run back punts?
Well, you know, they know he does it by memory. He was such a great punt returner in his youth. I won't say it is prime because he's evidently still in that.
You see that Cincinnati scored 21-7 over Buffalo. Tim, you know, when you talk about somebody like J.T. Smith, though, whether or not he should be in the Pro Bowl. Now, one of the questions was last year, he played in the replacement games, and I think there was some residual resentment about that. But this year, he's also posted great numbers again. He still led the league in receptions, even if you take away the 15 that he had in the replacement games. This guy's doing a fabulous job for the Cardinals.
Let's stop. Will throw the football. Well, no, he won't. He is sacked. And the ball loose there. Eagles say they have it. 10 seconds on the clock. The officials have not indicated a turnover. Mike Pitts is right there.
But the guy that made the sack was Clyde Simmons. He drove back inside on Lewis Sharp. And what happens is Cliff Stout stops short and starts to run a little bit, and that sets Clyde Simmons up for the sack. And then you see the wrestling going on for the football.
Now, there's been no indication from the officials that the Eagles have the ball. So we have to assume it's, well, no, there's going to be another meeting here.
I have ruled that the quarterback was in the grasp of the opponent. The recovery is by the offense. We go to second down.
Here it is, Clyde Simmons, number 96, working against Louis Sharp. Now watch as Stout stops and pulls up and makes that move upfield. That sets him up to get the sack right there. Clyde Simmons very quietly doing his job along that defensive line.
I tell you what, he very quietly knocked the ball away from the quarterback,
Sure
too.
did.
I think that they were a little lucky to get that called the way it was, with just a grasp and a sack. But we have reached the end of the first half with the score. The Phoenix Cardinals 14, the Philadelphia Eagles 7.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. Citizen, no other watch expresses time more beautifully. And by the American Express card. Membership has its privileges. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Black & Decker, quality tools that go at the top of everyone's gift list. Miller Lite, official sponsor of the Miller Lite NFL Lineman of the Year Award. Miller Brewing is the exclusive beer sponsor of today's telecast. And by Subaru, we built our reputation by building a better car.
Tim Ryan with Dan Jiggetts back here at Veterans Stadium, where the rains have started, and the Cardinals have been raining on the Eagles 14-7. as we begin the second half. And you can see, Dan, it's been all Cardinals. Indeed, the Eagles are lucky to be down by only a touchdown.
Well, and the reason why is you look at the rushing yards, 104 to 43. Now, that also leads into the time of possession figure as well. And expect more of that in the second half because it's now raining here very hard, and that's going to be a key thing. If the Cardinals can control the football in the second half, they walk away with a win.
And bear in mind, they had one touchdown called back by a holding penalty, so they have dominated the Eagles here in the Eagles Nest Veterans Stadium. And as we wind down this season, Cardinals look forward to another match at home against Philadelphia. So clearly a victory today would put them in the driver's seat, at least against the Eagles in this logjam NFC East. Big kickoff. McAdoo does not attempt to bring it out.
Yeah, but you know he wanted to. He was a little upset about that. He wanted to run that one.
Dejas really hammered that one. So Cliff Stout, 15 of 22 in the first half, 136 yards, a touchdown, 1 interception. Filling in for Neil Lomax. They hope to have Lomax back next week. Some of the concerns on the part of the Cardinals themselves of the difference between Stout and Lomax, those fears have been unfounded. He doesn't like to throw from the shotgun, which somewhat reduces their tight end and 4 wide receiver formations. But he has not been hurt by it at all today. He's found Ewald, he's found J.T. Smith, and mainly he's found the running game of Farrell and Mitchell, and that was Farrell starting the second half with a flag down.
You see that rain coming down, and look at the rushing yards for Phoenix. Last week they only had 60 yards. So far in this half, 104, and one of the main reasons why is those wide bodies up front for the Cardinals have been teeing off on the defensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles.
The left tackle was uncovered, did not have an eligible receiver flanking him. Repeat first down.
And what that means usually is your wide receiver was not up on the line of scrimmage on that weak side. He's got to be up on the line of scrimmage.
Illegal formation. First and 15. Cardinals from their own 15-yard line. Just underway, second half. Phoenix leads it 14-7. An interesting little piece of movement. Mitchell, Eagles didn't buy that at all. A loss on the play of about 3. Byron Evans came in to replace Mike Reichenbach in the second period, stayed in there, and he starts here in the second half, going to right with him.
Tim, the Eagles defense and their offense are not good enough to play without emotion. They've got to play with emotion. If they are able to turn it up a notch or 2 in the second half, you're going to see a different kind of football club. But they've got to play with emotion. They can't just win because they've got tremendous athletes on the field.
They've got a second now and 16. Stout, sideline to Ewald, incomplete. Stout took a pretty good shot as he delivered the ball. Pitts was there, Reggie White was there. And Stout complaining about it.
First he says, we don't see him. I am Phoenix, or you can see the jersey pulled down over the shoulder pad. It gets a little rough back there in the pocket sometimes. That's how come they pay those guys. A lot of money. This guy deserves it, though. Cliff Stout's the kind of guy, if you're going to have a backup quarterback, he's the kind of man you want to have around.
Well, he did the job in the first half here today. Even last week in the losing cause, he had bad field position all day long against Houston. Still was 19 of 29, 3 touchdown passes. Flushed and intended for J.T. Smith, incomplete. 2 defenders there. Brazil and Andre Waters.
Talked about that in-your-face defense that the secondary of the Eagles has to play. That's what it's all about. When the receiver comes out, you don't let him catch the ball or make a move on you. You put a stick on him. You put a hat on him. In that case, Waters was there waiting for J.T.
I would think the old military man, Buddy Ryan, had some words for his club at halftime after a dreadful first half in which they were lucky to be not farther behind the Cardinals. Mark Konechny back to receive the punt. A high snap. Good job by Greg Horn to get that away, but it's out of bounds in Cardinal territory.
Now, both Greg Horn and John Telcher came into this game ranked 3 and 4 respectively in the NFC in punting, and both of them have had some high snaps, and as a result, Horn is not able to get his foot on this one like he'd really like to and get underneath of it. There you see he gets it kind of low, and does that little hop, skip, and a jump, and that's going to hurt his average quite naturally, but the most important thing is he got the football off.
But it's at the 40-yard line of Phoenix. First down, Eagles. Tony, with a flag down, picks up about 3 with forward progress. Anthony Tony playing with a cast still on his broken left hand. Offside against Phoenix. Penalty more than the gain.
Number 65 defense lined up in the neutral zone.
That head linesman is the guy, number 81, is going to make that call, and he's going to be right down there on the line of scrimmage. And just as you see that guy coming into that neutral zone, he lines up in the neutral zone. He's going to throw that flag. And now Ron Sadler was a little close to neutral zone.
Keith Byers, nice piece of running, close to a first down on 1st and 5. Bell and Lyles made the tackle. It'll leave a second and about half a yard.
Second and a half a yard is a nice time to go deep, but you see the signals being sent in by Matt Cavanaugh. I don't know if the Eagles are of that mind, but certainly second and very short, that's the time when you might want to test the waters in the end zone.
Especially from the 30 of the Cardinals. Remember, we've got rain falling out there now. We'll be keeping an eye on the effect of that, if any. Byers has the first down. Hard running by Byers.
Yeah, and a good surge by the line. Did you see that surge? You saw a group that looked like a rugby scrum just kind of moving down the field. And that's that kind of effort you have to have up front. But certainly good running by Keith Byers.
Nico Noga stopped him, but it's first down, Philadelphia at the 27-yard line of the Phoenix Cardinals.
You guys played rugby at Notre Dame, didn't you?
No. Actually, they did start club rugby there a little while after I graduated.
Back in the 50s?
Somewhere around there. First down. Cunningham audibling here. Short drop. Was it caught? Yes, Ron Johnson got about 4, maybe 5 on the play. Cedric Mack on the coverage. Good catch by Johnson.
Well, the one thing the Eagles apparently want to do here is they don't want to get greedy on anything. I said before that, that second and short, maybe you test the waters in the back of the end zone. But what they're doing is they're using that chip away offense. You take 3 here, you take 5 there, get what the defense is giving you, and be happy with that. And maybe you can make a move after you catch the football.
Ricky Hundley comes in for Nico Noga. For Chris Carter. Eagles wanted interference. The flag was late coming. Carl Carter had the coverage on Chris Carter.
He had too much coverage on him.
Pass interference, number 41, defensive disrupt, first down.
And that flag came from somewhere in New Jersey. And actually what happens on this play, now watch on the left side of your screen, that's where you're going to see number 41, Carl Carter. He's all over the receiver here. Now watch, just right about there. Now, see, he's on him right there, and that's the reason why the penalty was called.
Well, it may have been late, but it arrived. The Carters not related. They're getting to know each other.
Certainly not now.
First down, play action, Carter, Cunningham for Johnson making that Carter, and overthrows him. A tremendous rush by E.J. Jr. Cunningham just turned around, and Jr. was in his face. E.J. Jr., and he knows that he's got that young Ken Harvey trying to take his full-time job away from him at the right outside linebacker spot on the Cardinals.
But he still feels that he's a full-time linebacker. That is, he's able to play on the run as well as the pass. And that's the one thing that he's a little upset about, is the fact that he comes out on a lot of passing downs.
Well, he showed his rushing ability there. Second down and 10. Quick drop, and Johnson incomplete. That was a perfect pass.
Oh, boy, it was delivered on time, too, right out of the break.
Had a lot of zip on it, and it looked like Johnson just couldn't hold it.
Now watch Johnson, number 85, as he comes out of his break. Randall Cunningham is going to put this ball right on the money. The timing is perfect on it, and it just simply slips out of his hands. Maybe it's time for those receivers to take those gloves off because they've gotten a little wet and a little slick right now as a result of the rain that we've had here today, and the ball is also wet.
Third down, it's not quite goal. The marker is just outside the goal line. It's effectively third and goal. You can see where the line of scrimmage is there, just outside the 10. Cunningham, a little roll, lobs it up, and it is broken up. Intended for Haddix, a diving knockdown by McDonald. Ball looked like it would be a little overthrown for Haddix anyway.
They see Tim McDonald right on the line of scrimmage. He knows he's got man coming out of the backfield. That's Michael Haddix. Now watch it. Great athletic ability on the play. Reaches up, slaps the football down, and makes sure that there's no way that receiver can catch the football. And Michael Haddix is a disappointed man about now.
That brings on Luis Zendejas, his first field goal try of the day. Ball will be spotted at the 18-yard line. A 28-yard attempt. Telchik the holder. And he's got it. Luis Zendejas. So the Eagles open the scoring in the second half and close the margin to 3. Well, there's our scoreboard as the Eagles, with a field goal from 28 yards away by Zendejas, have reduced the margin to 4. 29 yards in 7 plays. 2:09 off the clock. Rain continuing to fall here steadily at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. Zendejas will kick it off. These two teams tied with the Giants in first place atop the NFC East. We have played 12 games coming into this one. The Giants play this evening at New Orleans. Derek McAdoo will bring it out for the Cardinals to the 20-yard line of Phoenix. And right here at Veterans Stadium next Saturday, CBS Sports presents the Army-Navy game, number 89. The Cadets are headed for the Sun Bowl. They'll try to make it 3 straight against the Middies, 2 o'clock Eastern time. Then following the game, the moment we've all been waiting for, the Heisman Trophy Award, sponsored by Kodak. All next Saturday here on CBS Sports. Got a pick, Dan?
Yeah, I'm picking Sanders from Oklahoma State.
You were picking Rodney Peete
all
season long until yesterday.
Tough game yesterday, and I think that now's a critical time.
Oh, boy.
You asked me who I think is going to win is Sanders.
Well, you're not too loyal. Not too loyal. First down. Mitchell. Not much. Mike Pitts straightened him up right at the line of scrimmage.
Hey, I tell you what, Mike Pitts is loyal down there on that defensive line for the Eagles. That was a big-time stick. One of the things you have to do, though, on the backside of a defensive line, such as the one that the Eagles have, is that if you're the offensive line, you've got to cut those guys off on that backside because they're going to catch your running backs, particularly if you're running between the tackles. So a guy like Mike Pitts on the backside of a play will shut it down from that backside unless you block it.
2nd and 9. An aroused Eagles defense stopped the Cardinals on their first offensive possession of this half. Stout, incomplete. And again, Terry Hogue with tight defensive play on J.T. Smith. And they're still going at it well after the play is over. But, Dan, you put your finger right on this when you said that these Eagles have to play a roused defense. That's what they're doing. And it must mean that there was a little noise in the locker room at halftime.
That's right. And a guy like Terry Hogue, smart player, comes in and makes a key play here. It's number 34, left side of your screen. You see him right behind the offensive line now, drops back into coverage. And now watch this on JT. JT missed the ball just as he was trying to make the reception. Terry Hogue comes in and puts it right in the middle of his chest.
And Terry Hogue getting to become the regular out there replacing Hopkins at free safety. Timeout is called by the Cardinals. And the crowd getting into this. A shocked crowd seeing the Eagles coming back here in the 3rd quarter. Birds of a feather, wet feathers. Telchik and Zendejas, and the sellout vet crowd soaked as well, but really getting into it. Andre Waters was leading the cheers from the field. The cheerleaders are working the sidelines. It is 3rd and 9. Cardinals at their own 22. J.T. Smith close to the first down over the 30-yard line. William Frizzell, nickelback, made the tackle.
J.T. Smith will come right into the middle of your screen. Number 84 there. Gets a good little fake off the line of scrimmage. But watch Frizzell put the stick on him right there with emphasis. And that stops him just shy of the first down.
It leaves a yard, and the Cardinal punting unit is on the field. Mark Konechny back at the 30-yard line. You can see he's concerned about wet hands using the towel.
And no gloves.
Greg Horn. Not bad. Konechny from the 36. He's got a hole. Ran into his own man and then took quite a lick. But a pretty good return to the 47-yard line. Anthony Bell made the stop on him, and a stop it was. Well, now, as we remind you how things stand here, the Giants playing tonight at New Orleans. That's tough duty there. So the Eagles and the Cardinals really recognizing this is tantamount to a playoff game. That 3-1 edge held by the Eagles in the division. Washington in front in their game. Redskins can't be written off yet. Cunningham too high for Johnson. Nunn and Clasby with a little pressure on late. There's that Washington score over Cleveland. Redskins really up against it, and a big game for the Browns as well.
One of the things it appears that Randall Cunningham does when he's got plenty of time to throw the football is he aims it a little bit. And as a result, sometimes when you see it take off on him where it'll just fall short. It's just, you know, not real natural follow-through motion when he's throwing the football.
Anthony Toney, Keith Byers, the running backs, in the pro set display. Byers, nowhere to go. Wrapped up by Bob Clasby. And now for an NFL update. Let's go to New York and Brent Musburger.
Most spectacular run of the year. Neil Anderson of the Chicago Bears. He'll change the ball in his hands 3 times and watch him cut on a dime and get 90 cents change and take off now. It's 80 yards, the longest run ever in Soldier Field. Watch him get to the end zone. Score it, Chicago. Back to Tim.
Neil Anderson, what a job. What a running back he is becoming. His second touchdown of the day. Cunningham wide open to Johnson. First down, Eagles to the 12-yard line.
Once again, Randall Cunningham gets time to throw. Much more effective when he's throwing downfield, and watch him on this play. Nice clean pocket for him there. He sets up a little bit of a pressure there, but he lost this football. Now watch. Johnson's wide open on the play. Busted coverage there. Chris Carter's expecting him to flip the ball back to him on the lateral. He could have run in for the play. But now watch the pressure here. Cedric Mack with a little pressure there. And also Ken Harvey slides off the block late. But that ball's downfield already.
40-yard gain. First down, Eagles. About 3 inside the 10. They'll spot it close to the 8.
Eagles tried to run a trap on that play, but no one blocked Galloway. As a result, he's standing right in the running back space.
Cunningham 11 of 27. Not great numbers, but he came up with a big one there. Noga, Bell, and Junior, all 3 linebackers getting in on that tackle off Toney. Toney comes out. Haddix goes in. Stallings with concern on the sideline. Remington, the center, checking the snap count with Cunningham. 2nd and 7. Blitz. Cunningham wide open. Carter. Touchdown.
Left side of your screen, down near the bottom. That's where Randall's going to find Chris Carter. Carter runs the out route here, straight to the corner. Nice reception on the play. And of course, now let's watch Randall Cunningham do a little celebration. He says, yeah, roll them out again.
Zendejas. Point after is good. Eagles have the lead. 7:21 to go, third quarter, 17-14. The Philadelphia Eagles on top, 17-14, after the 12-yard touchdown pass. Cunningham to Chris Carter. They went 54 yards in 5 plays. That is the 20th touchdown pass of the season for Randall Cunningham. The expectation on his part, evidently, that he should make the big plays for this team. He's been doing it all season long, and he does it again with help of a fine catch by young Chris Carter. Zendejas in the driving rain has another long kickoff. McAdoo will not bring it up. Well, we've got lots more football ahead here on CBS today. Game 2 of our NFL doubleheader. The Rams will try to regroup against the Denver Broncos. Broncos beaten up last week by New Orleans. Others of you will see San Francisco take on a rejuvenated San Diego Charger team. It's Dan Fouts Day out there. Our CBS broadcaster will be honored by his San Diego fans. That's game 2 of our doubleheader coming up next on CBS.
Every time you played Fouts out there in San Diego, Danny always found a way to beat you out there.
Well, they got a lot to pay him tribute for. A lot of fine memories. First down from the 20-yard line. Let's stop. Complete for a first down. A flag on the play. J.T. Smith. Been the main man, but it's against Phoenix.
It's a shot to the head. Reggie White was on a nice tight rush, and I believe it was him that got the shot to the head. Should be against the Cardinals offensive line.
Cincinnati doing a job on once beaten Buffalo.
Illegal use of the hands. Jam to the face, number 63 offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Tootie Robbins, number 63, guilty of the jam to the face, described by Gordon McCarter.
He was working against Reggie White. One of the things Reggie White told me is that if he's having a tough game, the reason why is because he can't bull rush like he wants to. He wants to dip that head down and run over the tackle a couple of times, and then he feels that helps the rest of his game.
Has he ever had a tough game? I don't remember it. That's only by his standard. First down from the 20. Eagles jumped in there.
And they were drawn off by Louis Sharp, moved on the play, and Clyde Simmons came across.
Ball starts, number 67 and 64 on offense. First down.
Left side of that line, Sharp and Pete together.
And now they're back down in the bowl area of the stadium where it gets kind of difficult. You get backed up on that end zone to hear the snap count. Now look up at the top of your screen. You see both of them move there. And, of course, Clyde Simmons makes the move to guarantee that the officials see the call.
Danny, how much may that have to do with the cadence of stout? Guys not maybe quite together as they are.
I tell you, at this point in the ball game, it might be a little hard for that to be the problem. I think it's just the fact that they cannot hear down there in that end zone because it gets so loud.
Good point. This crowd is really alive. First and 25. Stout from the end zone. Going deep for Green. Incomplete. Green was behind Roynell Young and Terry Hogue. But the ball a little outside. You can see Stout not happy with his throw.
He had that ball in the air, Tim, at least 55 to 60 yards, though he aired it out as much as he could. But that was an awfully long pass to throw because Roy Green still had outrun the pass, essentially.
Stout 16 of 27. Had a good first half. It was an otherwise not a pretty first half, certainly for Philadelphia. Eagles fumbled the ball 3 times, lost 2 of them. Phoenix fumbled once and lost it. Each team had an interception. Most of that ugly activity took place in the second quarter. Got about 4 yards before being driven back. Byron Evans, the initial contact. Again, some extra activity as the tension of this game obviously being felt by both teams.
Derek Kennard is getting upset with what's going on in there, but see, the defense wants you to do that. They pull you out of your game when they do that, particularly if you're the center. You're the guy that's got to snap the football. You have to keep your mind on football and not fighting someone else. So if the defense can get you drawn away from your game, then they're doing their job.
It's going to leave third and very long. You can see in the second half, it's been all Eagles here with 5:25 to go, third quarter. After Phoenix dominated the first half. Stout intercepted. Pressure on Stout. Forced him to release it early, and the rookie Eric Everett made a diving catch.
I tell you what, Philly is really lucky on this one. Now watch Reggie White, number 92. He's going to come inside, bust contain, so nobody's out on that corner to stop Cliff Stout. Essentially, now he can pull up, look downfield, and he simply overthrows the football here. Nice interception on the way back.
So the Eagles at the 30-yard line of Phoenix. Complete reversal of form to this point, at least, here in the second half by Philadelphia. Keith Jackson in motion. Tony close to 5 on the carry. Well, they're going to spot it now closer to about a 4-yard gain. Cleveland has pulled back to move into a tie with the Redskins in the fourth quarter. Redskins at 6-6, not surrendering anything yet with these final 4 games of the season. Maddox into the backfield for Tony. 2nd and 6. Cunningham play action, setting up the screen to the tight end Jackson. First down to the 15-yard line of the Cardinals. Noga and Carl Carter pushed him out, but he ran through a couple of people.
Randall Cunningham rolls out to his right, throws back on the screen there. You see they've got that AO action, backside guard and tackle pulling. Now your guy gets a cut down here. Randall's able to throw it back to Keith Jackson on the screen. Now watch Keith get a couple of blocks downfield here. Some of his linemen, you see Ron Heller's thrown a block downfield, and Keith Jackson makes an awfully nice run on the play. That's why I picked him for Rookie of the Year.
Well, it's a good choice.
See, I'm running in front again.
He is something. 66 catches coming into this game. Big play there. First down inside the 15. Loose ball. Cunningham falls on it immediately. A little miscue on the exchange from center Dave Remington. Talking to Remington about being here, and you can see the quarterback asking for a new towel.
One of the things about Remington being here, Tim, is the fact he's so short. You see Randall really has to squat down to get the football from him. Randall's 6'4", and Remington is about 6 feet tall. So Randall's having a tough time getting down underneath there. But this guy, Dave Remington, is a good center.
Well, he said that all of the numbering was different from Cincinnati, and took him a while to adjust to that, and they expected him to play right away, of course. And really feels that this line is just about there now, playing together for their 4th consecutive week. The same guys. To the 9-yard line. Lyle stopped them there. Cunningham took quite a shot, and he has yet to get up.
You can see he's holding that rib area.
And Heller limping off the field. Damaging play for the Eagles, and of course the bulk of it right there. Cunningham, who has escaped injury all season long, and all this quarterback injury trouble has not yet affected the Philadelphia Eagles.
Watch the replay here. Cunningham drops back, delivers the football, and right there, Tim McDonald drives it right into his side. And he tries to reach down to help Ron Heller up, and he realizes that he's hurt. Also, he's trying to pick up Ron Heller. That might be another problem. But we're certainly hopeful that Randall and Ron are okay. Ron Heller has had some knee problems coming in to this season. He was operated on, scoped a couple of times. And, of course, Randall has not had a rib problem. But he certainly took a shot there from Tim McDonald, number 46 for the Cardinals.
Well, you'll see the hit by McDonald got him right in the midsection. A good, clean hit and a hard one.
Here's McDonald. Keith Jackson is trying to block him, but he essentially pushes him back towards the quarterback. On that kind of a deal, you're better off throwing a block, that is, and trying to get the legs out from underneath the defender.
Cunningham still in some pain, and interesting the way he leaped up immediately, and then when he started to put some pressure on trying to help up Heller, that's when he fell back himself. And Cavanaugh warming up, Matt Cavanaugh. But what a blow this would be to the Eagles if this is at all serious. Randall Cunningham, as we said, has managed to lead them in rushing. He's taken his share of hits and sacks and has survived all the way into this 13th game of the year.
But you can see, too, that he has rib pads on him. Quite possibly that if he's getting up and playing again, that's the reason why he's carrying some extra protection down there, because he is kind of thin. He says he's 195. He's 6'4". That's not very big to be playing with those big guys out there.
And Cunningham assuring his teammates that he's all right. Cavanaugh will come on at least for this play. We have a 3rd down Eagles at the 10-yard line.
Ron Heller
need
is
to get
back
to the 3-yard line for a 1st down.
Ron Heller came back into the ball game at his right tackle position.
3rd down. Cavanaugh from the shotgun. For Johnson, flag down, touchdown. Fine catch by Johnson. Reggie Phillips draped all over him.
Touchdown.
Matt Cavanaugh in the game for an injured Cunningham. Lofts it up, finds Ron Johnson there. That's the penalty on Reggie Phillips there, but it makes no difference because Ron Johnson makes a great reception in the end zone, and they get together for a collective team prayer after the touchdown. They have a lot to be thankful for.
Boy, that is not a bad pass for a cold, wet substitute quarterback on his first throw of the ball game.
Who was the boxer that said you can't cook with cold grease? Well, Matt Cavanaugh just proved them wrong.
Buddy Ryan said Cavanaugh and Jimmy Giles have had as much influence on the recent success of the Eagles as anybody. The point after is good, and a flag is down as they ran into Zendejas in an effort to block it. Tim McDonald was there, Cedric Mack, Ricky Hundley all in on top of Zendejas.
Slipping, number 53 on the kicking team. Penalty will be accepted. Kick again from the 17.
Well, one reason they were in on top of them is because Dwayne Giles, one of the blockers, tripped one of the rushers.
Well, you know, if you're in that corner on the kicking team, if you're one of those two guys that are on the corner, you've got to push one guy and trip the other guy. That's the way they train you to do it. And hopefully they don't call it on you during the course of the game. But there's no other way to bump two guys. They call it a double bump. You have to bump one guy inside and go back and get the guy on the backside, and that's pretty tough.
Well, they got Giles for it. And they'll have to attempt this extra point again from farther back. So it becomes a little mini field goal here, a 30-yard attempt for Zendejas. And he got it. Luis Zendejas, not bothered at all by those events, has given the Eagles a 24-14 lead. Dan Jiggetts. This critical game at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia has turned in favor of the Philadelphia Eagles. Still a long way to go. 3:51 remaining, 3rd quarter. Rain continuing to fall. The Eagles now with a 10-point lead. Matt Cavanaugh connecting to Ron Johnson from 9 yards out. A 30-yard drive after a short punt. And the injury to Cunningham, apparently a twisted back. And they say he will probably be back. Cavanaugh came in for that one play and connected with Johnson. Zendejas. This will be returned from the 4 by McAdoo. Close to the 20-yard line. Well, we want to remind you again that one of the great institutions in college football takes place right here on CBS Sports next Saturday, 2 o'clock Eastern Time in this stadium. Army and Navy and the Cadets headed to the Sun Bowl. We'll try to make it 3 in a row over the Middies. Following that game, the Heisman Trophy Award, sponsored by Kodak. Our exclusive coverage of that event all next Saturday here on CBS Sports.
And Tim, last week I was saying Rodney Peete, you know, he had a tough game yesterday.
Boy, you gave up on the guy after just...
I gave up on him in a New York minute. I did.
Folks. Boy, you are tough. He wasn't too bad yesterday. They just ran into a much better.
He didn't have an offensive line blocking for him yesterday. That was his problem.
First down. Farrell is dropped behind the line of scrimmage by Jerome Brown, number 99.
Jim, we talked a little earlier about with this Philadelphia Eagles defensive line, if you do not block on the backside of a play, they will come down and stop the play, shut it down from the backside. That's what Jerome Brown did on that play.
Here's a guy who said about himself earlier that I need more consistency. Sometimes I'm a little lackadaisical. Yeah. He hasn't been that today.
He's Mr. Excitement. The guy keeps piranha as pets.
Second and 10 and a half. Stout can't find a man. He'll run it. Takes it out of bounds. After a pickup of about 5.
And Andre Waters takes a foolish shot there on the sideline. He should never have gone after Cliff Stout on the sideline like that.
What they do on nothing?
You do not want to get a flag thrown on you on that sideline. Andre's taking a low profile on this one, though.
Well, I tell you, that was like UN debate down there. Everybody was getting in an earful.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 18, throwing the ball to the opponent out of bounds after the play. Half the distance penalty. The down comes. We'll go to 3rd down.
Well, see, what Cliff was upset about was the fact that Andre came in low and hard on the play, so he decided he'd let him see the football a little bit closer.
But they didn't call anything on Waters.
No, because he was smart. What he did was he went to the ground. He said, hey, I'm not going to get another penalty, but he's too close for comfort there. You know, he should give himself a little bit more of a little bit more space on the play, so it doesn't look like he's going to get a penalty even.
So Stout fired the ball. That cost the Cardinals a big penalty back to the 11-yard line. The only time he's really lost his cool today, because despite Waters' offense as Stout saw it, you don't get yourself into one of these situations. Costly penalty back to the 11. 3rd and 19. Stout, good pass right on the money to Ernie Jones. And Jones may have the 1st down. Well, that's how to make up in a hurry.
Ernie Jones was one of those 3rd down receivers for the Cardinals. And talking to him before the game, he's a good young guy that graduated as a criminal justice major out of Indiana. He says he wants to work with young juveniles when he gets into the offseason here. But one of the things they depend on him for is 3rd down situations. He's number 86. He makes his move. Big cushion here on the long 3rd down play. Kind of cruises into the middle of that field. Roynell Young comes up too late to make the play. Roynell had underneath help there from William Frizzell, but it was not close enough.
1st down Cardinals at their own 30. Stout got him right back. 2:16 to go. 3rd period. Screen to Farrell. Gets a good block. Still going. Stepped out back at the 41-yard line. What an effort by Earl Farrell.
That's the kind of play you like to see out of a running back. Earl Farrell, number 31. Watch him set this one up very nicely. Tucks in behind his line. He knows that linebacker's watching him all the way. Their linebacker slips. Earl Farrell heads towards the sideline. Gets a good block out there by Lance Smith. And now watch Earl cut back here. Nice little move back. Avoids the tackle by Jerome Brown. And finally gets driven out of bounds by Todd Bell. They're right there. He steps out of bounds.
2 big plays by the Cardinals have them in Eagles territory at the 41. Mitchell for 7. inside the 35-yard line. Earl Farrell with a good block for Mitchell.
A healthy Stump Mitchell means that the Cardinals may have some success running outside. I said before that you need a guy that runs about a 4.4 if you want to turn that corner and be successful at it. Well, Stump Mitchell may not run a 4.4 still, but he's a guy that knows how to set up a blocker and hit the corner properly, and that's what he did on that play. Let Earl Farrell lead him out there. Earl gets the nice block. Stump turns it up.
You mentioned he's been bothered with an ankle much of the season. Missed a couple of games earlier on. Still not 100%. Second and 3. Burrows his way into the traffic. He'll be short of the first down. It'll leave third and about a yard. Mike Pitts on the tackle in the middle of that Philadelphia front.
Tim, I'm still surprised that the Cardinals have not gone more to the tight end. Remember the last time we mentioned that, suddenly they go to Robert Awal and he gets the long run. He thought he had a touch, but he stepped out of bounds early. But I'm kind of surprised they haven't worked that tight end a little bit more, because in this man-to-man coverage that you'll see Philadelphia in so many times, that's the guy, number 80, who can hurt you the most.
Well, they hit 2 in a row to him in that sequence you're describing, Dan. And the one, of course, a huge one that set up a score for them. And he was open by a lot both times. 3rd and 1. Here one suspects they'll just get that first down. Stout, and Stout does not. Met at the line of scrimmage by the linebacker Joyner. Something went wrong there, Dan.
They tried to run the option play and they ran out of options. Now, when Cliff Stout tries to he's going to fake a handoff right about there. He's going to fake it off to Earl Farrell. Now watch him try to come out on the option, but he gets cut off. He decides to go back to the other side of the field, and there's just nothing there because Mike Pitts is like a beaver down there grabbing around his ankle, eating that tree up.
Well, that's kind of a strange call on 3rd and 1.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? They figure that if that defensive line collapses in on you, you got that option going out to the side. You can flip it out to Stump Mitchell and hit the corner.
Well, that's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The Philadelphia Eagles 24, the Phoenix Cardinals 14. We now pause for a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Radio Shack, the technology store. And by AT&T, the right choice.
Tim Ryan with Dan Jiggetts. 4th quarter beginning. Gene Stallings, a little risky play on 3rd and 1 that cost them. They're going to go for it. 4th and a long yard. Eagles 33. Flag down. Incomplete, intended for Green. Likely interference on a second flag against Roynell Young, but an earlier flag as the ball was snapped.
We're going to get to see 4th down and short again, I think.
Well, there is not much doubt about the interference call against the Eagles, but what about the first one?
Multiple fouls on the defense. Number 99 in the neutral zone at the snap. Number 43, defensive holding. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
Double trouble for Philadelphia. Brown encroaching.
You see him, he's asking the official, me? Was I in the neutral zone? Notice the officials don't like to tell a guy like Jerome that they were in the neutral zone.
Well, they get a sore
walk
neck
away
looking
from him,
up at him. That's the problem. Walk around with a stiff neck the rest of the afternoon. That big Jerome Brown, 290 pounds worth, well over 6 feet. So they have a first down, 28-yard line. Cardinals trailing by 10. Reggie White jumping over this time. Was he drawn? Or was he in there early? Looked like Reggie was blaming himself.
92 defense. Contact before the snap. 5 yards, still first down.
Boy, I tell you what, he rolled Derek Kennard up when he jumped off. Now, watch Derek Kennard, number 70, right in the middle of your screen. Watch him give you good emphasis there and roll back. When the wide bodies start moving, everybody gets out of the way.
Reggie, well known as a licensed preacher, has Bible gatherings with many of his teammates, and also goes outside of the football community. A very popular evangelist. First down and 5, Cardinals. Draw play, Farrell. What a run by Earl Farrell down to the 1-yard line. What a day this guy's having.
Tim, once again, you can't overemphasize what Earl Farrell means to the Cardinals. Here again, draw play. Handoff by Stout. Now watch him find a little crease back in here on the backside. Good blocking by Tootie Robbins. Now, what happened there is Seth Joyner, number 59, got picked off by the official, and Earl Farrell gets a nice run out of it. He's going to go back and thank the official. Maybe the official should get a game ball.
Boy, they better give him the ball here to take it in. From just outside the goal line, 93 yards on the day. A 21-yard gain. First and goal. Farrell. Touchdown. Earl Farrell. 94 yards on the afternoon, and we've just begun the fourth quarter.
Earl Farrell just simply punched this one right in. You see Jerome Brown a little slow getting up off the ground there, but watch Farrell right through the middle of his offensive line, gets lead blocking there by Wolfley, and just hammers this ball into the end zone. Seth Joyner can't even stop him. He's standing up straight.
So the Cardinals bring it right back. And we are just underway in the fourth quarter. This critical battle, two teams tied atop the NFC East. The Giants tied with them at New Orleans tonight. Del Greco with a point after has it. The Cardinals reduce it to 3, 14:08 remaining.
This NFL game summary is sponsored by BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Rain has been steady here in Philadelphia. The Cardinals have closed to within 3. The Eagles having a strong second half until the Cardinals came up with that score by Earl Farrell, and suddenly looks like a game that might go down to the wire, Dan.
That's right, and then when you think about going down to the wire, you got to look for Randall Cunningham to come back.
Yes.
But again, that last scoring drive, Earl Farrell just simply has a lead play in here. Ron Wolfley gets a nice punishing block there on the linebacker, and watch Earl Farrell, second efforts this thing right into the end zone and puts his club back in the ball game.
94 yards rushing on the day for Farrell. 2 touchdowns. And the main man, and Cliff Stout hanging in there in relief of Neil Lomax. They hope to have him back next week, but Cliff Stout so far has played very well here today, all that's required of him. Randall Cunningham, remember, has not been in since he took that shot from Tim McDonald in the midsection.
I see him throwing down on the sideline again. He's up and throwing, is working out with his receivers.
Del Greco's kickoff. Konechny from the 10. Mark Konechny gets to the 24-yard line. Flags everywhere as McAdoo and reserve linebacker Scott Curtis of the Eagles having a few words with each other. So you can see the tension is building.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 33 of the kicking team. Quarter ahead, 15 yards from the dead ball spot, first down.
Wow, 15-yarder against Derek McAdoo. So that helps the return of the Eagles. They'll be starting up near the 40-yard line. Don't forget, we've got lots more NFL football action ahead for you today. These 2 doubleheader games coming your way. Some of you will see the Rams at Denver. Denver smarting from that loss at the hands of the New Orleans Saints. The Rams trying to get it going again. And the 49ers battling in the NFC West will be in San Diego against a rising Charger team on Dan Fouts Day out there.
I understand they're going to retire Dan's jersey too, Tim.
First down, Cunningham play action. Sacked. Galloway. And Clasby. Well, Galloway may have to share it, but as you said earlier, he was telling us, I'm sackless, I got to do something, and look what he did.
Well, you know, it seemed like the play was going in slow motion. Now watch Cunningham pull out here. First of all, his line doesn't really sell out and give him good play action up front. Galloway breaks through, and Randall says, hey, look, I'm going to get down on this one because Bob Clasby is coming along with Galloway. Now watch Galloway. He gets his first sack of the season. This guy's going, finally, I get one.
Galloway spent much of the early part of the season out of action with a couple of injuries, a thumb and then a foot. And he's been eager to get back in. He makes a huge difference to the pass rush for the outstanding Freddie Joe Nunn on the left side. You can see the offensive line of the Eagles struggle in the sack department all season long. They feel like they're a much better, more cohesive line right now.
As well as the Cardinals offensive line has had the same kinds of problems.
Referee's timeout.
We didn't know that.
Please reset the down clock to 30 seconds.
So they get the clock sorted out, and the Browns have moved ahead of the Redskins. Both these teams would like to see that finish the way it looks.
Well, the Browns have had a lot of luck this year against NFC opponents. You look at the Cardinals game, the Philly game, all of that.
Bills coming back a little bit. They're in the playoffs, first NFL team to clinch a spot, so they might be having a little bit of a letdown, but they're battling back against Cincinnati. Bears shutting out Green Bay. Packers continue to struggle, and Bears continue to roll.
All clear.
Well, communications problems. We know about that. That's okay.
A little satellite problem there.
Second down. On the 29-yard line.
Once again, we talked before about Randall Cunningham trying to pick and choose his spots offensively throwing the football. You see he's not going deep yet, just trying to chip away at it, get 10 yards here, 7 yards there, and before you know it, you got your first down again because he had a long way to go.
Keith Jackson picked up about 10 yards. It'll leave 3rd and 13. Ball at the Eagles' 37-yard line. 12:49 remaining. Regulation time. It is now final. The Browns have defeated the Redskins. The Redskins, who started Mark Rippon today, fall to 6 and 7. Cunningham under pressure. None after him. Gets the ball off. What a catch by Jackson. First down, Eagles.
You saw Randall crack that little smile there. Boy, he puts this one on the money. Running to the sideline, puts it on the dime to Keith Jackson, who makes a great play. Great catch downfield, right in front of Cedric Mack.
Wow, what a play by both those players. You often hear about how tough it is for a right-handed quarterback to throw on the run, going to his left. Well, some guys make it look easy. He just did.
That's no fair.
No fair at all. And that Keith Jackson is not too shabby. He's your pick for Rookie of the Year. At midfield. Byers. Pete Byers grinds out a first down to the 35 of Phoenix. Mack and McDonald on the stop.
Nice attitude run there by Keith Byers in that offense of the Eagles. But this guy, Keith Jackson, is the guy who I picked for Rookie of the Year. There are a lot of reasons why, but the main thing is, though, this guy's moving close to the record. Earl Cooper holds it for 83 receptions in the season for a rookie, that is. Keith now has 71 with 3 games remaining in the season after this one.
First down from the 35-yard line.
The other thing, too, though, is he's way ahead of Cooper in terms of yardage.
From the I formation, now Byers in motion from the tailback spot. And they go to Michael Haddix, number 26. Picks up about 3, running straight ahead. You know, Buddy Ryan has had a lot of faith in Keith Byers, who came in with that foot injury out of college, and it has not developed into the running back, mainly as a result of that. Gordon McCarter, a flag we didn't see fall. There is illegal procedure against Philadelphia. So they'll back it up.
Illegal shift, 2 men moving, penalty accepted. Repeat, first down.
First down and 15 back at the 40-yard line now of the Cardinals. But getting back to Byers, Buddy Ryan just said, you know, this guy is going to be a great player. I'm not unhappy with my pick. I know what he can develop into. He's getting better all the time. And while this year he's been more of a pass receiver than a runner, we're seeing flashes even today of his running ability. 1st and 15. Intended for Keith Jackson, incomplete, a little off the mark. Good coverage by McDonald and good pressure on Cunningham.
We got a flag on the play. It appeared to be thrown into the interior of the offensive line.
Gordon McCarter will sort this one out for us. A string of penalties.
Holding. Number 78, offense, penalty accepted.
A holding call against the Eagles.
First down.
And with 10:31 to go in the 4th quarter, the Philadelphia Eagles, with a 3-point lead over Phoenix, are backing up. They're now at midfield, still first down, but a long way to go for a first. The intended receiver, Cedric Mack, step for step on the coverage. They both fell down going for the football.
I tell you what, Dave Galloway had some big pressure that time on Randall Cunningham, and Randall is still down there with his head down trying to shake that one off a little bit. Now he's back up. But what happened was Dave Galloway came from the left side of the offensive line there and really got a stick on Randall.
Well, he's a pretty resilient guy because he got quite a stick from Tim McDonald earlier. Just one play. Comes back and obviously throwing a ball that long, he's got to feel a little pain where he got hit. Pressure again. And he is dropped after a gain of about 2 yards by Galloway.
Dave Galloway is working himself back into that form that he had before he was injured. This guy was a player that every coach along an offensive line used to circle out and say, hey, look, you got to look out for this guy because he does so many things well. He rushes the passer well. He runs the games well. And he also is a guy that can, you know, play against the run and string that play out along to the sideline and then make the stop.
Well, we asked him if he ever watches defensive films, because obviously the defense studies the other team's offense. But he smiled a little bit and said, yeah, I've watched guys like White and so on. Just kind of get an idea of what they're doing. That's the natural, I'm sure, to compare yourself against the others. Timeout called by the Eagles. And still with a 3rd and very long, just inside the 50. We'll be back. Tim Ryan with Dan Jiggetts, and the first signs of Christmas here in Philadelphia. A few pseudo-Santas here watching the game in their Eagles jerseys. Hoping for early Christmas luck for the Eagles.
That's a dedicated fan there. He's got the umbrella working along with the hat.
From the 49-yard line of the Cardinals, it is 3rd and very long. Cunningham, and it is picked up. Intercepted at the 26-yard line.
Roland Mitchell looks like the guy who picked it off, number 25.
It is Roland Mitchell, the second-year man from Texas Tech, came over in the trade from Buffalo. And with the injuries to Lonnie Young and Travis Curtis, Mitchell getting some time in the secondary. Mitchell's at the top of your screen there. He's playing off. Now he gets off, he bumps off the receiver. That's Kenny Jackson. And he just simply steps in front of Kenny on the play and intercepts the football. Made a nice reception on there. That was an ill-advised pass on the part of Randall Cunningham. Second interception suffered by Cunningham, and the Cardinals with good defensive play on that series. Penalties against the Eagles. Phoenix has the ball at their own 25. Stump Mitchell. Picks up 5. Met by Clyde Simmons.
9:20 remaining in the game or so. Now, if you're the Cardinals, you got the football. You want to go on a nice long drive here. Really grind the clock out. You know, take up your time going down the field because you need a field goal to tie it, and a touchdown will win it if you can drain the clock as well in the process. But keep in mind that Randall Cunningham always carries a little magic in his pocket for that 2-minute drill.
These Eagles have been in some close ball games going down to the wire all season long. They've been winning the late victories. Second down. Stout. Incomplete. Roy Green ran into the defender, Roynell Young. And it may be Young who's going to get the penalty. Boy, the way I saw that is that Green looked up for the ball and at the same time ran into the defender.
That's right, because if you look at what Roynell was doing, he's playing the football. Green turned around to look for it and ran right into him.
Well, they've thrown the flag apparently on Young.
There's also one behind.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, chop block, 64 on the offense, pass interference, defense,
That's what I was going to say. There's one behind the line of scrimmage as well. So it's a plague on both houses.
Todd Pete got the illegal chop block penalty back at the line of scrimmage.
See, Todd Pete's got the butterfly bandage up over the eye. He got the eye popped a little bit today. Now he got the chop block call. But what it is, you can't hit a guy, let your center say hit a guy and set him up, and then you come down and take his wheels out, because that's when they call that chop block on you, because it hurts so many defensive linemen's knees. It was a block that started with the 3-4 defense, and what they like to do is take that nose tackle, set him up, let one of the guards take his legs out.
Well, I think here maybe justice might have been served only by the fact that they're going to play it all over again, because that was a shaky interference call downfield. Second down. Whoop, busted play, flags everywhere. Stout sacked. Third Eagles sack. Clyde Simmons this time came into the game with 5.5.
Clyde Simmons told me he's just a quiet man, but he's never quiet on the football field.
illegal shift, 2 men moving, not resetting before the snap. Penalty decline, 3rd down.
A little confusion on the play, and that brings the grimace from Gene Stallings here, as his team just did a good job defensively, and they hurt themselves with another penalty on offense.
And when we talked to Gene Stallings about 3 weeks ago, we're down in Phoenix, he said one of the things that they were kind of priding themselves in at that time is they had kept the number of penalties down. Certainly it's hurt them in this ball game.
3rd down and 12. Big play and the crowd reacting to it. Stout sacked again. Simmons and Joyner inside the 15. Cardinals will have to punt.
Illegal motion, number 81 offense,
And yet another penalty, but declined, of course.
Clyde Simmons and Seth Joyner. Clyde coming from the top of your screen, Seth from the bottom. They make a Cliff Stout sandwich there at about the 15-yard line. Seth Joyner is one of those guys, Buddy Ryan says that he's going to be a Pro Bowl player for him.
Cardinals unraveling a bit. Greg Horn. Low punt. Cardinal bounce. Out of bounds over midfield. Eagles will start from their own 48-yard line. 7:49 to play. Eagles by 3. Tim Ryan with Dan Jiggetts. 7:49 to play. 4th quarter, Veterans Stadium, Philadelphia. Eagles have the football and the lead. And the Cardinals need big plays here. They have not been hurt too badly by the new men in the secondary. Lyles, the starter. Nickelbacks, Phillips, and Brim. But they need lots of tough defense from here on out. Cunningham for Carter. First down, Eagles. 17-yard line. beaten on the play, beating Carl Carter.
Yeah, Chris Carter, he was getting on me because I said he was slow before. Hey, this guy runs the pattern just at right speed. See, he's a guy that can get open, and then the key thing is when he's open, he catches the football. He doesn't outrun the throws and has good hands on the play. Now, it makes it difficult because you don't know if a guy like him is going to take off or he's just running that control pattern, which he likes to do a lot of, and he's always wide open. Every time you look down the field, this guy's open for a reception.
Carter on Carter pays off for the Eagles to the 18-yard line of Phoenix. Anthony Toney. Picks up close to 5. E.J. Jr. on the tackle. 2nd and 5. Cincinnati has defeated Buffalo 35-21, just the second loss suffered by the Bills. And Chicago shutting out Green Bay 16-0. The Bears go to 11-2. The Bengals go to 10-4. Toney inside the 10. Gain of about 3.
See, that Cardinal defense is working him over pretty good when he hits that line of scrimmage with the football. Thinking there might be a little weakness in there.
Yeah, they're trying to get him out, too. His teammates want Toney to go out. He's wearing that cast on a broken left hand. He's a keen guy, to say the least.
He said every time it hits just that top finger, that index finger, that's when he feels the most pain. And then you can see him holding it a little bit. But he says, you know, when it twists that hand a little bit, when the ball touches it, that's when he gets that shot that he just wishes he didn't have to experience.
Well, they cut away the cast in order to make it possible for him to carry the ball, and he wanted to play. He played. As Haddix, his backup, number 26, got about a yard.
Well, the good news for Philadelphia is that they're going to be getting Mike Quick back fairly shortly. We're watching him at practice, and that's going to be a favorite target for Randall Cunningham, you know. And that's also his biggest buddy, is Mike Quick. And it certainly looks like he's ready to put a uniform on him.
He did look like he was ready at practice on Friday. And, of course, the Cardinals will have Neil Lomax. We watched him work out yesterday with the team doing stretching and throwing the ball, and they hope that he'll be ready next week as they'll measure this one.
He says he's going to get fitted with a special orthopedic brace that's going to allow him to strengthen that ligament a little bit.
Just short of the first down. That Bear victory over Green Bay makes them the second team into the playoffs, by the way, clinching at least the wild card berth, and it would appear they'll be the title holders in the Central Division. Run the ball only once today. He's the leading rusher on this team, but today he's been the passer. 4th and a football. Jackson has been joined by Jimmy Giles and David Little, 3 tight ends. Philadelphia will try to have 1st and goal, and flags everywhere. Look like the Cardinals jump.
You could hear that hard snap count that Randall Cunningham gave through that defensive line of the Cardinals offside.
Encroachment, no flag.
It's only encroachment if you're an official. It's offsides if you're playing and you get hit. It's a very nice way of saying that some guy got crowned, you know, encroachment.
It means 1st and goal to the Eagles from the 4-yard line. 5:04 to play. Heath fires, touchdown.
Talked before about the kind of runners Keith Byers is here. Takes it off the left side, gets good movement up front by his offensive line and his tight ends. And that's Jimmy Giles with a nice key block there on the side. And boy, does Keith Byers punish everybody taking that ball into the end zone. And of course, he gets down and he's thankful for the touchdown.
field position because they lead by 10, just 4:46 remaining. Let's go to New York. Brent Musburger for an NFL update.
Well, Tim, this is a huge day for the Philadelphia Eagles because the Washington Redskins are all but out of any playoff contention. The Browns beat them down the stretch. Biner with a great run, 26 yards for the touchdown that put them away. Browns still alive. Skins lose 17-13. They are under 500 right now. Let's go back to Tim.
All right, Brent. Well, other news from around the NFL that comes out of that Chicago game. Richard Dent, the Bears pass rushing in, apparently has suffered a broken leg. What a loss that will be to the Chicago Bears. Victory over Green Bay, a costly one today, and apparently Tomczak, who was left with what was thought to be a twisted left wrist, they now think he may have a possible shoulder separation. Harbaugh finished up in that game. McMahon is due to come back next week. He fires a 4-yard touchdown run. 10-point margin, Philadelphia. Kickoff goes out of bounds. Will now rely on Cliff Stout to pull off some cardiac Cardinal stuff with a 10-point differential to try and make up. They did it against San Francisco, coming from down 23 to zip and win by 1, all of it in the fourth quarter late.
Now, you know, if you're the Eagles defense, what Cliff Stout's got to do now is he's got to start putting the ball up in the air. We said on the previous drive, you can take your time, get down there, score a touchdown, and win the ball game. But at that time, the Cardinals are only behind by 3 points. Now the scenario's changed. The Cardinals have to get a quick touchdown and then come back. Hope they can get the football back from the Eagles and hopefully tie the thing up with a field goal.
Stout, 18 of 30. Stands in the pocket and takes off. The first down to the 49-yard line.
What do you expect if you're Cliff Stout out of that defensive line of the Eagles now? Believe me, you're going to get some stunning up front. Those guys are going to start running some twist up there, trying to shake loose from one of your offensive linemen, and also expect a couple of blitzes now because they know they've got you in a tight spot. They want to make you throw the football into a dangerous situation, so they're going to put some people in your face.
Green, J.T. Smith, Roy Awalt, the receivers. Mitchell and Farrell in a wide pro set. They're in the pattern. Farrell can't hold it. Second down. Now let's check around the league with another NFL update. Here's Brent Musburger in New York.
Tim, in the AFC, Cincinnati wins the big one against Buffalo. It means that the Bengals stay a game ahead of Houston in the AFC Central, and it moves that the Bengals are within a game of Buffalo and wrapping up the home field all the way in the playoffs. Let's go back to Tim.
Two very good football teams in the AFC, Cincinnati and Buffalo. Probably one of those will emerge into the Super Bowl. 2nd and 10, Phoenix. Low pass, too low for Awalt. 3rd down. Linebacker Evans had the coverage. Heavy rain falling again. Phoenix, most of that in the first half. They dominated, but led only by a touchdown. Now they trail by 10.
So Cliff Stout looked over almost in desperation at Roy Green, number 81, telling him he's got to do something here. We need something here, buddy.
Forced out by the blitzing linebacker Joyner, turned it into about about a 7-yard pickup. Not bad under the circumstances. He could have been dropped for a loss.
And now, it's not only because of good pressure, but it's also good coverage downfield. The secondary of the Eagles is kind of rising up to the task now. And that's why you see Cliff, he's back there in that pocket and he's hot stepping a little bit. He wants to release the football. There's nobody to throw the football to.
4th down. They need a long 4 to keep possession. 4 receivers spread across. Complete to Roy Green. 1st down, Cardinals to the 36-yard line. The old master juggled it, but held on against the hit from Andre Waters.
Tim, you mentioned before that Cliff Stout does not like to go from the spread formation, that is the shotgun. So as a result, you'll see him go under center even in a situation such as this.
Well, it's from his Pittsburgh days where Chuck Noll doesn't use the shotgun. That's complete. Novacek, number 85, picks up about 5 on the play. An injured Eagle down.
Appears to be Reggie White, number 92. Looks like he's holding his ribs as well. He does not wear rib pads. He's got a little bit more protection than Randall Cunningham has, but still does not wear those rib pads. Ground level shot of it now. We'll look for number 92. He's at the top of your screen. Reggie White tries that shoulder slap on Tootie Robbins, arm rip underneath. Now, just as he gets to the quarterback, he goes down to the ground there, and then you see him. He's already grabbing that side. Cliff Stout doesn't even know what's wrong with him.
It didn't look like it was a blow. It looked like more of a twisting action.
Yeah, he might have jammed it a little bit when he was trying to do that rip with the underarm technique.
They're massaging right in that rib area on his left side. When they worked on Reggie White, it would not appear to be serious, but no way for us to know. Let's take this opportunity to remind you about the Army-Navy game. The 89th contest will take place right here at Veterans Stadium. The Cadets headed to the Sun Bowl, and they've got 2 in a row against Navy. That's at 2 o'clock Eastern. And then everybody anticipating the Heisman Trophy Award. Who's going to get it? Rondi Pete, Barry Sanders, Troy Aikman. We'll find out live at 5:30 Eastern time.
We should have put Brent on the spot. I wanted to find out who his pick was for the Heisman.
Well,
next update, we'll have to put him on the spot.
All right. Reggie White is apparently up and all right.
13.5 sacks. That's why he's my pick for defensive MVP of the league.
John Klingel and Doug Bartlett have come in defensively. White going off with his injury. 2nd down, 7. Cardinals and the Eagles 32. Stout, interception. Terry Hogue.
Get some pressure on this play, but Terry Hogue, the genetic engineering major out of Georgia, just sits back there and plays this one beautifully. Center field action there, reaches up, grabs the football, makes a nice run back here. Also gets some good blocking by the other guys in the defense. Watch, you'll see a couple of blocks thrown right along that sideline. There's one, there's another one, and finally he's brought down by J.T. Smith.
Novacek was the intended receiver, and he had position on the man covering him, but Hogue playing center field, as you indicated, leaping high, wasn't really that bad a pass.
You got to
made a great play.
You've got to believe this guy, Terry Hogue's going to be starting in that secondary for the Eagles very shortly. With 7 interceptions, it's hard to keep a guy like him on the bench.
Well, they've had him in for much of this game in Hopkins Place, and normally he comes in as the nickelback, and he has been the key guy in the interception department all season for the Eagles. 1st down. Gets about 3. Let's go to Brent Musburger again in New York.
Well, Tim, just moments ago, Montana and Rice, that combination for the 49ers, they hook up and go the distance as Rice gets beyond the San Diego secondary, 96 yards, longest in the NFL. Dan Jiggetts, I'm going to vote for Barry Sanders. I couldn't find anybody in a Harvard uniform to vote for. Back to you.
We're teaming up on that one.
Well, you got some
Pete was my guy until yesterday.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're such a turncoat. I tell you. well, next time you're going to be seeing Rodney's daddy in Phoenix, last game of the season. Green Bay is going to be there.
I'll explain it to him, but right now Reggie White's explaining his twisted back to the guys upstairs. But you're right, Rodney Peake's dad is, of course, the running back coach for the Green Bay Packers.
And you know I'm going to point out to him exactly what you did right here today on TV. 2nd down and 8. Inside the 50-yard line. The Eagles now in control. 2:42 to go. Cardinals have to make a great defensive play here and make something happen in a hurry in the rain. Fires again. About a yard.
Flag on the play.
37.
Flag on the play up at the far side, Tim, and you got to believe maybe it was again that coming into the neutral zone, lining up in the neutral zone. You know, when those officials drop those flags in those plays, they just kind of slide them out of their pocket, you know. They don't throw them in there to interfere with everybody's vision.
Well, the diehards staying in here. Some of the fans, many of them have headed for the exits once the Eagles stopped.
The guy down there on the left looks like he's ready for a toga party. He's got the band around his head.
Number 65, defense, line up the neutral zone, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Galloway again.
Yeah, see, that's that neutral zone penalty. You know, they just kind of drop it out of their pocket. Tough day for Phoenix. Miscues, 4 turnovers. They got some turnovers today, but unfortunately they made more than they got. 2 missed field goals, 12 penalties, and 4 drop passes. And that may be spells doom for them, at least for this ball game. But don't forget, 2 weeks, they line it up again down in Phoenix in the desert.
Well, this one could be well going to the wire in the NFC East. Certainly the way it looks. Giants tonight at New Orleans. Cunningham slipped as he tried to take it upfield, but there were 3 Cardinals waiting for him as he faked the handoff and then started a run with it himself. The Eagles just using up some clock time here. It'll leave 3rd down. And the Cardinals take a timeout with 2:16 still to play. Regulation time. New England and Indianapolis tied at 7 first quarter. Eugene Stallings felt confident about his team's chances today, and so did the players when we talked to them yesterday. And the way they played the first half, they had every reason to feel that way. They were more aggressive. They seemed to be a little more up for the ball game. But what a turnaround at halftime. And I'm sure the newspaper stories in Philadelphia tomorrow will recount quotes from the Eagles players about what the speeches were like at halftime in the Eagle locker room.
Well, Buddy Rhino uses a phrase, though, whenever you win here, he says, it's like Mike Smith said, it's the thrill of victory and the agony of reading about it. So he's sure that the Philadelphia Rhinos will have a couple of tough things to say about him.
Well, they can't have too much tough to write tomorrow, I don't think, because these Eagles have been playing awfully well since that upset loss in the hands of Atlanta. Byers picks up 2. It'll leave 4th down. And we'll get to the 2-minute warning. With the score, the Eagles 31, the Cardinals 21. That's the picture from Veterans Stadium. Well, the Eagles have 4th down. They'll punt. The Cardinals are going to bring everybody. They got nobody back. They're going to try for the block. Kelchick gets a nice little bunt away. And it goes into the end zone. And the Cardinals will start from their 20 with the touchback.
Kelchick tried to get that little pooch kick in there, and he pooched it a little bit too much.
Where do you suppose that expression came from?
Yeah, you know, you got a pooch, it's a little dog instead of a big dog. So you try to pooch kick instead of, you know, just hammering it away. You get a little dog, you know, you just want to put it a little ways down and towards the goal line.
I'm glad I asked you that. Kind of a Chihuahua compared to a St. Bernard.
That's right,
yeah,
exactly.
Okay. Cardinals from the 20-yard line, and they'll need miracles now. 1:52 to go, 10 points down.
Cliff Stout gets a chance to see if he's got a little magic in his pocket.
Four wide receivers spread across the field. Roy Green takes it out of bounds at the 25. So here is a look at how things stand in the NFC playoff-wise. The Bears are now 11-2. New Orleans plays tonight against the Giants. Minnesota 9-4. And then there's that whole logjam of guys there. Looks like Philadelphia will move to 8-5. The Giants, as we said, will play at New Orleans tonight.
The Rams right now leading in their game as well as the 49ers.
So it's going to be exciting, folks, right down to the finish here. It's so obvious that much will be decided on the final week of the season. 3 more to go. Second down. 4 to go for the first down. Stout runs out of time, gets it off to Farrell. Farrell dropped after a gain of maybe 2.
Cardinals trying to run a little middle screen there, trying to slip the running back out behind the rush. And the problem was the offensive line did not get downfield to throw for him.
Farrell gets up limping, but you know he won't come out. Intended for Jones, incomplete. Clock stopped. 1:19 to go.
Here's Al Roberts, a special teams coach for the Eagles. He was the annual turkey on Turkey Day this year. You know, in the NFL, they got this whole deal about sending the rookies down to get free turkeys. Well, they finally got a coach to go down and get a free turkey. At least try to. Of course, it's a setup. Al Roberts fell for it. Players haven't let him forget it.
So they go down to the supermarket where they think they're going to get a free turkey and they don't.
That's right.
That's what happened.
Then they signed him up for the Christmas tree giveaway as well.
Well, the special teamers have been holding their own today. Delchick made a couple of big plays for him. Stout. Complete to J.T. Smith. They have the first down and trying to hurry it up here. 1:09 to go, but these Cardinals are out of time today. They have the Eagles back home in the desert. One more time. Almost picked off by Joyner.
That play, Seth, is probably going, my hands are about as good as the ones on a digital watch. He had a little pick there, but just couldn't hold on to it. Cliff Stout now, he knows that the defense is going to give him anything in the middle of the field. So you can pick and choose your spots there. The one thing he wants to do is work that sideline a little bit. But of course, with no timeouts, he's got to work that sideline with only 56 seconds left.
Well, they got a long way to go to get 2 scores. This one appeared to be history. Reggie White came back from his little nick and been a power of strength, to use one of the great cliches of sports announcers, all day long. Under a minute. Over the head of J.T. Smith. They got 3rd down, and the rain is definitely pouring on the parade of the Cardinals, who had such a good first half, but they'll have to head home scrambling the last 3 weeks in this playoff hunt.
There's Norm Brayman, the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Behind him, George Azor. He's one of the happiest guys in the stadium right now. Patron of the arts down here in Philadelphia. Big fan of the team. Of course, grew up in South Philly. Grew up, under tough circumstances. Really made a lot out of himself. Now owns this football team he used to watch.
Smith trying to get out of bounds, and did he make it? I think he did. 42 seconds, the clock is stopped. And he's advanced the sticks as well.
Norm Brayman goes down there in that tunnel, and he says, because he can't handle these tight finishes, even when he thinks that the other team has a shot to get back in, he's got to go down and hide in the tunnel because of the anxiety of just trying to watch the thing up in the stands in his box.
Well, he wasn't peeking out in the rain here either, though. He's got a dry place to watch the end of this from. His Eagles have been on a run. Done some of them the hard way, and even today, after a dreadful first half, they really won this game in 30 minutes. Intended for Green, a little high, can't hold on. Flag down at the line of scrimmage. Clock stop with 38 seconds remaining. Giants at New Orleans tonight.
Number 95 defense, right up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Now this time the Eagles a little eager defensively.
Doug Bartlett, and Doug hasn't played a whole lot, but kind of wanted to get in there and get in the mix a little bit, and was a little too anxious. And Doug would say, gee, you know, you call my name. The only time you call my name is because I get a penalty. I like that haircut he's got.
That's the guy, they call him Francis from the movie Stripes. I guess he's a little left to center, a little right to center. He's a little off the mark, whatever, according to his teammates. I'm not going to say that. On 1st and 5. Picked off by Frizzell, intended for Novacek. And that'll do it. 29 seconds left to play, and the Eagles have moved themselves to 8-5.
William Frizzell wasn't even paying attention when the play started. Watch him playing man-to-man here. Jay Novacek steps in front, makes a nice reception, reception, and it's finally brought down by Novacek. You see, William was trying to flip the ball back there on the lateral, dropped the ball actually, and it was recovered by one of his teammates.
Well, there's a guy who labored in the vineyards of the Detroit Lions for a long time without too much thought of playoffs or Super Bowls. Comes over here as a free agent in 1986. Now finds himself on an obvious playoff contender. Who knows what else lies ahead for the Eagles with 3 more games to go. No matter what happens this year, it's a team on the rise. So the Philadelphia Eagles, coming from behind, score a 31-21 victory over the Phoenix Cardinals. The Cardinals still in it, but it's uphill now as they fall to 7-6. The Eagles move to 8-5, and the Giants play tonight at New Orleans. So for Dan Jiggetts, I'm Tim Ryan saying so long from Veterans Stadium. The final score,